You are listening to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, coming to you live on 105.3 right up to 107.7 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans. UPRNTalkRadio.com.
Oh, hello. Y'all, you're ready for radio tonight. We ready for radio. Yeah, we be ready for radio. Oh my God, we're ready.
Looking for something new in sci-fi or fantasy? Check out what Brandon Sanderson, Orson Scott Card, Nnedi Okorafor, and others chose as the best news stories of the year in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology from 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at GalaxyPress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Joe Montaldo Show. I hope everyone's having a great time out there today, even though it's freaking hot where I live. It's ridiculously hot down here. So today, a couple places we were working, anywhere from 101 to 103, which is, for my friends out there in Phoenix, New Mexico, that's not too hot, except we had 80% humidity. Oh, my God, it's like taking a freaking steam bath, man. It's ridiculous. Well, I've been in a lot of states where it's hot. I've traveled around the country a lot, and I have been in a lot of states where it gets really hot. But in all fairness, without the humidity, it doesn't seem to be as bad. I travel around the U.S. We do, sometimes you fly. Well, like LA. LA has no humidity, really. I mean, they say they do, but when you're out there, they really don't. So I always invite them down here to tell them, if you really think you're experiencing humidity, come spend a week in the summertime with us. And you can experience what it really feels like. Well, it's unusual for this time of year that we don't get rain every day. So we've been in kind of a drought for the last 4 or 5 weeks. It makes it a little bit harder. And the rain's nice for a break, and it gives your air conditioner a break. But really and truly, as soon as it stops, it turns into a sauna. I mean, you can literally watch it. There's steam. The streets are steaming. The sewers are steaming. Everything's steaming. The rooftops are steaming. It literally looks like a giant sauna. It does. Well, you have to be here to experience it, but still. But it's not just here. There's a lot of places in Deep South like that. I know. We got John Goodwin on with us tonight. I think he got lost somewhere. Actually, I think I sent him the wrong link in the beginning, so hopefully he will find it and figure it out. Sorry, guys. Something aggravating my throat today. Well, we're going to be talking about, we made it to round 2 of the awards. And so I don't know. No, so if you're a podcaster, People's Choice Podcast Awards, we're actually in round 2. We actually got into round 2. What the hell, man? I sent you the link. What's up, man? I don't know. Well, weird stuff goes on with different things from time to time. But anyway, John made it, I made it, and I made it. So what I mean by that is about UFO on the cover and News on the Flip Side made it, and Writers of the Futures made it. I haven't looked, so I can't be 100% sure. These 3 were sent to me. But I haven't seen if the Outer Realm made it or not yet. I have to go look and see, and I haven't looked yet. Well, I'll ask John. He's looked, so he'll probably know if it has or not. Well, we've been in, I think this is my 4th year. Third or 4th year in the podcast awards. Well, we've made it to round 2 every year, which I'm not complaining. I mean, I'm happy just to make it out of the pack and into the group, but I want to win. Yes, people, I want to win. I want to win. What? No, where are you at? Hold on, guys. He's in the wrong room, that's all. Yes. Yeah, I just sent him the thing again. I don't know. It's a lot of funny stuff goes on. A lot of crazy stuff goes on when you're doing radio and you do different things. This show, we can do a lot of different things on. We're allowed to travel across a lot of realms of topics. It's not like UFO on the cover. That's pretty much pigeonholed into what it talks about. Or News on the Flip Side, or The Centralist. Those are all shows that have a particular niche that they're filling. Or Science and Beyond. They all do. This show is just... I originally created this show so that topics that near and dear to my heart I could talk about, or things that I just want to talk about, things that maybe some of my friends wanted to talk about, stuff like that. Yes, well, just different things like that. I always enjoy talking to different people, and so that's what this show became. That's what it was for. It was for just chit chatting with different folks. Yes, that's what it was for. No, that's really what it was for. But hold on, I see John's with us. Hold on, guys. Did you get lost with all them links, John? So, guys, y'all can't blame John for this. I sent him one link. Damn. Then 2 more links. And then another link. And that last one was the right one.
Exactly. Good things come to those who wait, evidently.
I don't know. It was giving me Into the Night's links. I was like, what the hell is this? I guess Sean used this room, but it's not supposed to do that. Sorry, guys. I've been out in the heat all day, so my throat's kind of scratchy. I guess I was his guest last night, so I'm not sure what went down. But anyway, we got you. I refreshed it. We got you. Who's this? Oh, I know this girl. Okay, let me see. Where do I know her from? She's very strange. She's got a Canadian look about her, so maybe she's from Canada. But I've heard other things are happening near and dear, and I've just 3 days. Oh my God!
Oh no, that is not public information.
I didn't say what it was. I'll find out at the end of the show, guys. But anyway, how y'all two been? Y'all look like y'all been busting it all day. I'm sorry, something just popped up on my screen. What did I touch? Let's move everything away from Joe. Y'all been having fun, chilling out. You back home, right?
Yeah, we're back in LA. We've sort of been on a little world. We did the Comic-Con in San Diego, and then we went over right after that, like directly after that, to Tampa.
Oh, no, I can't believe y'all went Tampa and I didn't get to see you. That's some bullshit.
I know. Well, you were obviously up just
hobnobbing. This big hobnob flying around.
And when I see all I got all kind of stuff to tell you about. Anyway, well, I can't tell them on the air. Your people do not need to know some of this stuff that went down, but you're going to love it. Especially
they're going to want to know now.
Are we going to see you in Atlanta at DragonCon? Or are you going to go down?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be up there. So y'all see me up there no matter what. I'll be up. And then I think I'm going to go visit Uncle Tom in September at the Float.
Good.
And
I hear that's a real crazy time.
I want to see how bad he actually is. And,
yeah.
I'll never be able to tell you. I'm sure I'll be sworn to secrecy.
I'm sure.
Guys, look, it's actually a public event, people. It's called the Float. Tom Wood puts it on every year. It's in Arkansas. He told me I could advertise it, so we do advertise it from time to time. And I hear there's a lot of interesting stuff goes on. A lot of artists there. A lot of alcohol there, a lot of food there. I like all 3 of those combinations right off the bat. Clara, that is Emily Goodwin. I don't. I only drink when I'm.
Except when you're with us.
Yeah, that's true. So I haven't had a drink since I was with y'all, and last year I hadn't had a drink until I seen y'all again this year. Oh no, Johnny, it's not that I don't drink. Okay, I don't. It's not that. It's just I don't drink. It's hard to explain. If there was like an event that we wanted to go to or something, or if we were at a casino gambling and I wasn't driving, I might have a drink. But my life just doesn't seem to rotate like that these days. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, no, I quit for 10 years. I did. I quit when my son was born. I quit for 10 years. And then I started drinking again for a couple of years. And then I got stopped by a cop and I quit drinking for, I don't know, for about another 10 years. And now I just drink occasionally. Oh, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell y'all a cop story. This is a true story. This is a tale that you should take to heart. So I was out with my wife gambling at the casino, and we had a really good night. We had won quite a bit of money. And she's a much better gambler than I am, by the way. But anyway, we won quite a bit of money. We had a few drinks. Well, she hadn't, but I had. And we were driving home. And there was something in the road, and I guess I didn't see it. And this cop pulls me over. He said, "You've been drinking." Of course, I wasn't going to say no because, I was pretty loaded. And I said, yes. And he looked over at my wife and he said, and we talked for a few minutes. And then he looked over at Lynn. He said, do you have a license? She said, yeah. He said, been drinking? She said, no. He said, well, why don't you drive this gentleman home? Because I was being real polite. So we get home. A couple of weeks go by and I'm waiting for the court date. And I was telling Linda something. I said, I can't wait to see that fat redneck bastard of a cop. I'm going to tear him a new ass. And she just stared at me like, you were really drunk, weren't you? I was like, what do you mean? She said, he was a young, skinny black cop, Joe. I was like, no way. There's no way. So I tore her ass up about this because I was right. Well, come to find out, when we went to court, I was wrong. And first of all, I don't like to be wrong to start off with, and I was big wrong. I met the cop. He was a real nice guy. And I told him the story, and he laughed. He said, so have you learned your lesson? I said, yeah, I think I might. Not drink and drive anymore. I'm just telling you, people. I mean, really and truly, that's a true story. You can ask Linda. I mean, it was one of those things. And we had a big old fight about it, too. And I was like, no way. He's just a redneck cop from Mississippi, some ass. And she's like, no, he's a very nice black cop. And she could not sell me on it until I seen him when we were at the courthouse. And I was like, oh, shit, Sherlock. Well, people, and look, I'm probably got the highest tolerance to alcohol of anybody you will ever meet in y'all's lives. I mean, seriously, I'm born in New Orleans, raised in New Orleans. We drink 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since I'm from age 15 until my son was born. I drank every day. Usually, between us, we drink several fifths a day and go to work and be in progress. So I'm just telling y'all, you should learn from my lessons, okay? Mm-hmm.
Just like you should learn from somebody else's lessons, which
should. Well, and the reason I quit was because when my son was born, I was 23 at the time, and I had a really bad temper when I drank certain liquor. So I decided, you know what? One of these mornings he's gonna come crawl up in bed with you, daddy, and pee all over you and stuff, and you can get pissed. So I just decided I just would quit drinking, and I just quit. And I quit overnight too. Everybody was like, "How do you do that?" Like when I quit cigarettes, I quit overnight. When I quit drinking cokes, I quit overnight. Like, I don't understand how you just quit. I said, because when I'm ready, I'm ready. But I tell it to people all the time. If you're not ready, you can give it up. You're not going to be able to quit. You can trust. Hey, Fiona and Lola, my alarm system. I'm going to take y'all outside and let y'all chase rats. Lola's a rat. Look, she caught a mouse. We got, I don't know. I had a hole in my, we live. Yeah, but I don't know, it was pretty big. But we live, we live in the basically next to the bayou in the woods, and it's kind of hard to explain where I live. But somehow or another, they got a little bee hole got next to my door. I didn't think nothing about it. It's a little tiny hole. I didn't worry about it. And all of a sudden, I heard her barking her ass. I'm like, "What are you barking about?" My son said, "What are you barking?" He freaked out because it was on my table. I said, "Oh, that just grossed me out right off the bat." And Fiona seen it. She was on it. She would not. She cornered it, got her nose up against her belly, and held it there until I came and got her, threw her out the house. I know. Wow. The things you have to do when you live in the country, people. I swear. I never had to get rid of no mice in the city. And I'm sure they were there.
You got rats in the city, no mice.
No, yeah, well, we live in New Orleans. I got them like, But they don't come in your house. They stay outside. So how y'all been? I mean, good. So where we're next? Where we're off to next? So Tampa was there.
Next, we're going to Atlanta for Dragon Con. That's in a couple weeks. And then we go
to... What is that, 4 weeks, right?
3 weeks.
3 weeks
Less
now.
than 3 weeks, actually. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was the first week. It is the first week of September. Never mind. I forgot where we were in August already.
Yeah, exactly. And then... I
guess I better call my sister.
Then we're going to go to... the following month, we're going to go to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks after Dragon Con in Salt Lake Phoenix.
So I wanted to come up there this year, but I figure I'll either be at the float or I'll be at the Pensacola Con, working the Pensacola Con. So it's I don't know. I'm probably going to be doing both. Actually, I think the way it falls out, I can do both.
Okay.
It's strange.
Is the float the same weekend as Dragon Con?
No, I thought it was later in the month. I'll have to check and see, but I thought it was later in the month. I'll have to look and see.
I thought that's why Tom's not coming to Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Because
maybe it is. Maybe I might have it backwards. I thought it was close to the end of the month, but I might have it backwards. So it does snow up in Arkansas when it gets too long. Now I'm going to have to go look and see.
Yeah.
No, guys, we're talking about Tom Wood puts on a thing called the float. His family owns I guess it's like a state park. And it's a big ass place, and they own it, and they close it down for a week. And they, you can go get a ticket, and you come in, and they have music, they have food, they float up and down the river in Arkansas. Well, yeah, it's Arkansas. I don't know. Arkansas is a beautiful state. I've been there a few times. I stay out of Little Rock, but I like Arkansas. It's a nice state. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up and see. Bruce, why don't you? I know you're sitting over there doing whatever. I seen y'all chit chatting a little while ago, so you ought to look it up.
So it looks like it's also Labor Day weekend.
Is it?
Time of Dragon Con.
Damn, Tom, I'm calling him and telling him he's got to switch weekends. So you need to move it back a weekend or move it up a weekend. Now I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Oh, man, I'm going to have to talk with some people about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before then, we have some good news to share. We got some celebrating to do.
I know. I was kind of talking about it before you got to. Hold on, I got to move my messenger where I can see it. It's So I was telling everybody in the beginning that you and I made it into, I guess you'd say, round duo of this.
Right.
And which category did y'all get in on?
Education, which is good.
Yeah, oh, that's a good one. Well, that's a good one. Well, they were in 3 categories, and education might make it a little easier to win. It just depends. Well, I haven't seen the shows. I'm gonna look at them in a little while. John sent them to my phone, and I'm gonna look at and see what kind of competition we have. Well, UFO on the cover this is the last Wednesday until this contest is over that it'll be doing anything but solid, crazy UFO stuff. And the crazier the better, by the way. And then we'll see where we're at.
Right now, it's the hottest topic in America almost.
It is.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee. I like, Bruce Lee. Yeah. What do you got? You talking about John and Emily? John and Emily's from Galxys Press. Yes, they're John's the boss and Emily's the boss. They just boss different things. No, different. A way we say that differently. They boss different. Anyway, they're the bosses. Just deal with it. Again, I know I've said this probably 100,000 times. I should get $1 for this, but GalaxyPress.com, writersofthefuture.com. I know last week when I forgot who was on with this, when the guest Carmen sent, you were nonstop. You wanted to write. Well, that's where you go. writersofthefuture.com. And if you win, I want a percentage. Okay, this is a new thing. I want 10%
of their prize money.
Yes, 10%. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm not kidding. 10%. If I'm encouraging you, I want my 10%. And if you're from Mississippi, I want 30%.
How's that?
Because they're a little bit slower. No, I'm just kidding. I would get in trouble. Oh man, no, I don't live in Mississippi. I live in New Orleans. Oh, shh. No, really, I want my 10%, people. Just address a check to Joe via United Public Radio. Yes, there you go. I can just put it. You don't even need an address. Just send it to United Public Radio, and it will send it to me every time. Yeah, we tried this experiment. It works pretty good, actually. I don't know why, but no. So John's in education. No, people. No, News on the Flip Side is in news, so you can go check it out. But y'all can't just randomly vote. So you have to be invited to vote. I can't.
Second round, yes, you have to be invited.
I can't remember if it's 500 and 500 or 250 and 250, but anyway, they take X amount of people from the shows that didn't make it, and they take X amount of people from the people who actually voted on the first round, and they decide who's going to be the winners. There are some shows that are repeats. There's one science show, I think it's won 3 years in a row now, maybe 4. That's why I took that out of the science category. It was a waste of time. And there's a couple of shows that were repeats. But for the most part, there's a lot of categories to win in. A lot. You can put yourself in as many categories as you want, but when you start adding categories, you start adding money.
And you have to get lots of nominations.
Yes. So it's easier sometimes to have people find you 1 or 2 categories or 3.
Yeah, I just checked the rules here. So the awards voting now, which they're getting into, they're inviting 500 podcast leaders, legacy podcasters, and sponsors. So that's 500 there. And then through random selection, 1/4 of the registered listeners who volunteered to vote during registration will be asked to review with a minimum of 20,000 listeners casting final ballots.
There y'all go, guys. I know last year the opening was 5 million. That's pretty solid amount of. That's pretty solid. Don't be calling my sister. God, stop it, guys. It's that's pretty solid votes. And then 20,000 around. Well, it's a tough thing. There's a lot of good competition. It's a podcast award, so it's not just like you're competing against somebody who just got a podcast and started podcasting. wants to win an award. It's a little tougher than that. Some of these shows are legacy shows, so it's going to be hard to beat them. Some of these shows have been around a long time. Most of the shows that John and I will be competing against are shows that have made it before, just like us. Some of these shows are previous winners. So get your ass out there and vote for me and John. God, people, y'all just.
I don't think they can vote right now unless they're selected.
The people. I know some of y'all listen to this show.
Selected, yeah. If you're selected, definitely vote.
I know some of you selected people get to vote. I know two people on the network last year that was selected, and I'm pretty sure they're going to get selected again this year. Mm-hmm. Oh, Michelle probably be over there voting for somebody else. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding, because she knows I'd kill her ass. I'd send voodoo to her house and wherever she lives in Canada. No, I mean, but if you're selected, what do you mean? Can you go get selected? Is that what you were saying? No, I don't think you either had to vote or you have to be like.
Voting is over now.
Yeah. So you either have to vote round one to get to vote, or you have to be an influencer, basically. Oh, I don't know what their rules for influencers are. I don't know what they consider an influencer. You'd have to go check that for yourselves. Well, an influence can be anywhere from, somebody with 10,000 people to someone with 10 million people. It just depends. It does. I know I want lots of votes. I'll make John strip on look at Emily's like, wait a minute. No. Emily's like, well, we'll make you get good tips, girl. But I'll give you 50%. Oh, it's not going to happen. I'm desperate for votes, people. Damn. Look, I'm trying to pimp out her husband.
That's yourself out.
No, that's okay.
Exactly.
I know enough crazy people as it is. I don't need to meet anymore. It's, I was talking with a friend about this today. He's like, man, you know some really crazy people. I'm like, yeah, I know a few here and there. And he said, do you know one in every state? I said, I know one in every state. I know quite a few in quite a few countries too. They're just crazy. For everybody who's listening to us Hong Kong today, I'm glad y'all on board. I noticed we had picked up a new server over there, so welcome to the United Public Radio Network. I'm sorry, but welcome to the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, because that's probably what y'all are on over there. So welcome on board. Nice to see anybody from China coming on board. We already have a good following over there, so we have Pioneer Radios in Hong Kong as well. So I'm glad to see they got a little competition, and feel free to write. Oh, if you're a good writer, writersofthefuture.com. And don't think they'll fly you from China as long as you got a passport. You got to have passport, people. I'm sorry.
Visa. Passport visa.
Yeah, we can give you a letter to help get a visa.
Yeah. But we have winners from all over the world every year, so that's not a problem. We're used to that.
And if anybody is new listening, what we're talking about is the Writers and Illustrators of the Future contest, where we publish 12 new authors in short stories, science fiction, and fantasy, and 12 illustrators every year. And we publish them in an anthology, and it's very well sold. And you get prize money. You get to fly out to Hollywood for a week-long workshop. And then there's big awards event, more prize money.
You get to meet John and Emily.
Work too.
Yeah, you get to keep the rights to your work, and you get to meet John and Emily. That's the best part of the whole show, man. I'm telling y'all. Yes, I had to get on these people because John and Emily don't get enough credit. I'm serious. Somebody asked me, it was like the second year I was saying, I was like, well, how come I never hear their names up there? I was getting irritated. I said, Joan, this is irritating me, Joni. She's like, Wes, this is irritating me.
Well, Joni's the one who calls everybody and tells them they won. And
yes. And
she tells, she coordinates getting them out here. So she's the main person that they know.
Joni's their local Amazon. And that woman got more energy than anybody I've ever met. Jesus Christ. I don't know how she does what she does. Everybody, if you do get lucky and win, you're going to see something. It's a shame they won't let me tape the whole damn thing. It's they are just nonstop. And you know what? This would be one of the few things I would have ever taped in my life that would actually be clean, no cursing, no BSing. I'm telling y'all would love it. They don't stop. It's not. Well, I don't see them all the time. I mean, Emily's always doing something. John's always doing something. John and I sometimes we'll catch up for lunch or dinner or something. Or we'll see each other as we're going past the hallway or something. Emily's just, last 3 days, you don't even know she exists. She's like the ghost girl.
I'm at the event hall.
You got to be up. If you want to see Emily, and it's like Thursday, Friday, or no, Wednesday, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all I can tell you is you better be up late. And you better be sitting in the right place. And I'm not going to tell you where that's at. So, nah. No, it's a lot of fun. And I know I said this just recently. I was giving a lecture and I just said this. I said, if you can win, you can enjoy yourself. I was talking with, I forgot his name. Oh, Jeff Weiner. We were talking about this, about how much fun this is and how much stuff you can learn, but how much fun you can have while you're doing this.
Yeah.
And Marco, we're going to be doing that again in 4 weeks. We're going to be updating AI about I think it's every 8 weeks. Yeah. We'll be doing an AI update. Well, because it's growing in leaps and bounds. So
yeah.
And I just was given a bot that hunts down stuff to give to the AI, to feed the AI. Yes.
Wow.
It's insane. No, it's it's going to be what it is. Unfortunately, it's going to be here for life, so it's going to be what it is what it is. But hopefully, it doesn't interfere in other good works. Well, to answer one quick question before we move on, for me, I've noticed when I'm reading stuff that people have written from the AI, it's I don't quite know how to explain it, and even when I know it's not, it doesn't quite feel real to me. It feels airy. I'm not. I don't know. There's just something about the substance that's not right. It might just be me too, And unfortunately, I've been around a few pretty good authors that have been working with AI with me, so I get a different understanding about it. But I'm not. I can tell you all this. I'm not anti-AI, but I'm not really pro-AI either. So I guess I'm whatever in the middle somewhere. It's just I don't think AI should be used for certain things. We're not going to get into tonight because that's not what we're here to talk about, but I just don't think it should be used for certain things. Mm-hmm. Like writing stories about Emily. Shame, 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 shame. Yes. I know how you pervert guys are. It's no, I mean, this stuff is crazy.
Let's take a handicap left here and just move on to
So
wait, aspiring writer and artist, it's something that we're coming to the close of year 40. At the end of this month is the end of the fourth quarter, which is the Rise to the Future. Each year is broken into 4 separate 3-month contests.
It's a big 4-0. That's a big one.
It's a big 4-0, yeah. And we've got. I don't have the keynote speaker yet, but we have the band that's going to be opening it. The Jive Aces are amazing. They're a swing band. They're just so.
Oh, cool! Can we dance? I like swing. I'm a pretty good swing dancer.
UK's top swing band, and
well, we need to have a promotion, not an advertisement, a promotion for the 40th anniversary. I don't want to advertise. There's no reason to have an advertisement because you can't come unless you win or unless you're invited by y'all.
Yeah, they can watch it when you
can. So I think we should have a promotion. Harass somebody over there that works for you. Make it a promotion. No, serious, because it can run in tab with some of the other stuff that's running in the system now. And people, y'all just need to know it's there. Well, one of the reasons I hooked up with John and him is because this is something that just needs to be pushed into the general population more. There's a lot. I've met a lot of illustrators over the years. I've met a lot of authors. I couldn't even tell you how many authors I've met since I got into radio. I've lost count. And if I was to tell you how many came over the radio station, you would not even believe me. How many? So, I want to see the authors make it. I want to see good material come out for me to watch. But more than that, y'all forget I live in Mississippi and Louisiana. I want to see the literacy rate in both these states go up. So, just recently, another true story. So recently, I had given somebody a case of, I think it was 36. That's what y'all sent me, 36, 37, and 38, right? Yeah. So anyway, I'd given him a case at 36, and the lady had told me she's writing me a little thing about it for y'all too, by the way. I just talked to her yesterday. And so there was, how many other books was in there? She said they're never in the little book library they have at the school. They're never there. Now, this is a middle school. It's not a junior high. It's a middle school. And she said they're never there. They're always gone. She said one kid came out. No, she said for like a week they sat there, 2 weeks they sat there, so nobody touched them. And then one kid got it and was talking to his friend, then another, and she said now they're never there. So, as a matter of fact, she said usually they'll wait a week or two and then call them and say, "Can you please bring the book back?" So that's good. That's nice to know. And nice to know that, because you never know how junior high kids are going to act. I mean, you just don't know. And I got some other stuff I'm gonna give away this year. I got some other books that came in that a case or 2 laying around that I'm getting ready to give away. It's no, not to y'all people. These are going to local stuff. Yeah, we do. Unfortunately for our listeners, we do local stuff too. I want to see people learn to read, because pretty soon that's all you're going to have is read. I mean, read or listen. That's going to be the society. And so you might as well get ready for it. Carolyn, it's in Los Angeles. It's a great thing. Go win. I know I've seen your artwork before. You're good enough to win. Okay. Before I let John and Emily talk again, don't believe me, because I have not picked the winners right in four sets. I have not picked the winners right one time. Not even close. Tom Wood and I were talking about this last year. It's just not even close. Oh, yes. See, they know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who it is. And I walk in.
Grand prize winner yet for Ball 40.
Yeah. Well, when I look at these things, I say, okay, this looks really good. Of course, I'm not an artist, so I'm looking at it from a consumer's point of view. And when I read one of the stories, and like last year's book, I liked all the stories in the book. So, but I forgot which one we were talking about that I picked, but it wasn't the winner. So I was like, and I don't know. First off, I'm sure there's particular things that the judges are looking for that I'm not. I'm just reading it. I'm just reading it for the content of the story. Right. No, Bruce will never get them right. Mm-mm. So that's why I said, don't trust my judgment. If I tell you it's good, you might want to redo it.
One of the things about Writers of the Future is that there's something for everybody. Everybody has different tastes. So, you go through the book, there's 12 different stories, and some are more sci-fi, some are more fantasy. So you go through it, you're all going to find something you like.
It's, so no, Ricky, it's this one. It's this one right here. That's Lazarus Black's book next to it, The Dragon of Atlanta, The Real Dragon of Atlanta. That's the one you were asking me about. Now, this is the book we're talking about right now. This is 39. It's all pretty with Tom Wood's artwork on the front of it. They got great stories in it. Be sure to check it out. No, you can get it. No, they ain't going to give it to you free, but I mean, it's only like $20.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just do what? Oh, no. And the story in it for the cover is Kevin J. Anderson, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, you mean this? Oh, this is from Wolf Moon. This is top secret that I stole from Wolf. He was just on the other week. Yes. Y'all wish I could get this. Eventually, you'll be able to get it. Just not you ain't get mine. That's all. Mine's actually going to my son to help him out. And of course, this one right here, The True Dragon of Atlanta, came from Lazarus Black, who was just on with me a couple of weeks ago. That's his latest book. Mm-hmm. Well, I tell authors this all the time. If you're going to be on the show and you send me a book, it'll stay up here. Now, these are different because these stay up from season to season. So when John sends me these, or whoever sends them to me, Joni, whoever sends them to me, these stay up. One will always be back there. It might get rotated around with other books that are up there, but this will be up until I get book 40. It'll be right somewhere in this area right here. But we do put other, it's like as you see Non-Human right there. There's other books underneath it. I rotate books around for different authors. Some of them are Writers of the Future's authors. Some are authors from other areas. But as long as you send me your book and you're a good author and I know you in some way, it'll go up there. To whoever sent me that question.
We've got a new judge. I don't know, you weren't there to meet him. So Hugh Howey, he's the author of Silo, which has got that TV series now on AMC?
Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Stars Rebecca Ferguson.
You will like him.
Cool. So far, I mean, I don't know how many have liked me, but so far, almost all the judges I've met and got to spend some time with, I developed talking to. Tim Powers is the hardest son of a bitch to sit down in the spot of anybody I've ever met. He's worse than I am about sitting
all
still.
over the place.
I'm like, Tim, sit down, I want to talk to you. Okay. And then he gets surrounded. I said, go on, Tim, I'll catch up with you later. We were sitting outside one of the classes talking because he had just come out. Jody was talking about something. And he had just come out. He's sitting there drinking a Coke and we're talking. And I said, well, look, maybe we can get boom. Up like 10 people came up. It's like Kevin. I said, Tim, sooner or later I'll catch up with you. I said, but and we need to get to talk a little bit downstairs.
Superhero to their authors, he's like a superhero.
Yeah, and he is. He's really good at what he does. And I love, just like I loved watching Wesley and
Dean Wesley Smith.
Yeah, Dean Wesley Smith and Todd McCaffrey do that class that year. That was hilariously funny to me. It was a lot of fun. Well, people, you had to be there because they have completely different styles and what they think should be going on. And Dean was giving Todd a buttload of trouble about he had some banners behind him, and so it was great. But they were teaching and they were making their points as they were going along with this. Well, Jody Lynn and I and Tim Powers have a similar relationship. It's not quite as crazy as those two are, but it's very good. They play off each other well. And you got to remember, when you're listening to these judges, they don't always agree.
That's the
so you get that's the best part. So you get multiple techniques, because something that works for this one may not work for you, but something working for Jody might work for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a great thing. And then I can never remember the lady with the dice and the chart.
Nina.
Yes. For some reason, I just like this lady. I don't know why. She was funny when I met her. She said, "Do you want one?" He said, "No, I'm here for press." And then later on, I said, "Give me the damn thing. I want to see how this works."
Yeah, she was a winner in Volume 1.
And she was fun to talk to. Sooner or later, I'll get Carmen to set her up for an interview. But, there's just so much stuff there to learn that you're not going to learn anywhere else. And I was talking with Jeffrey, had an author on his show just recently, a werewolf author, and we were talking. And he said, "Man, you know a lot about authors." I said, "Not really." And he's like, "Yeah." He said, "No, I've been listening to you talk." I said, "Well, it's a kind of a cheat." He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I hang out with these writers that are future people." I said, "They're the ones that actually know." I said, "I'm just learning." He said, "Man, you learned a lot." I said, "Yeah, well, there's some pretty good teachers over there." And I catch on to things. I was laughing. We were talking about a couple of the judges the other day, and everybody was with Wolf. We were talking about him, and Wolf's like, "Yeah, I mean, all of them have big personalities. They all are characters of some sort." I said to somebody on air, I said, "I should write this as some kind of character thing. Make each one of y'all a character and put it in some type of book." Because it is. I mean, you have a distinct personality. John has a distinct personality. Everybody who works there has a very distinct personality.
Yeah.
Not like carbon copies of each other. Thank God it's like that. I hate working with people that are all carbon copies. It drives me that crazy. No, I actually, people, it's really true. I mean, they're all just very different than the other ones are.
Yeah,
they are. They're just, and they work really well together. I'm sure they have issues from time to time, like everybody does. This shit happens when you're running things this big. I mean, this isn't like this is a little bitty event. This is a week-long event with the culmination of a huge gala at the end of it. I said, this isn't for the easily frightened kind of people. They get out there and they bust it out, and it's work. You got all these people coming and going. You got flights coming. You got people coming in. You got classes. You got teachers. You got other people. I mean, you got judges. I mean, just a lot moving parts in this.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not a moving part. I'm like the thug that just sits there and watches the moving parts go around.
Oh, one thing that just happened this year has never happened before is we have as a first place winner. This is in quarter 2. Is a writing team, twin sisters.
Oh,
wow, and that sounds interesting.
From England. So
sisters, well, I don't know if they're twins, but they're sisters from England, and they're co-authors. And
they're both going to be coming out. They're so excited.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to meeting them, because I'm going to after Salt Lake City FanX, I'm going to be going to Germany for Frankfurt Book Fair. It's a big trade fair, and then when that's over, I'm going to go to London, and I'm going to meet these girls, because it's very exciting. And we've had some. I just finished doing a show where a few of us in the last year's winners on UK Talk Radio. It was a radio network there, so we just finished doing that. So we're trying to really build up the awareness of the contest in UK, because there's a lot of great people there. Yeah,
there's a lot of people there, and you got your work cut out for you over there. I talked with a lot of people because we've been advertising the Writers of the Future commercial over there. So
yeah,
I've been talking with a lot of different people over there lately, but. It's the UK is an interesting place. They got a lot of good. We have a big audience over there, a big following over there.
It's good,
and hopefully y'all will do really, really, really well over there. What do you mean the UK is just Americans? Okay, see, let me. As far as the UK is concerned, we're just we're tourists. We're just like the part of the UK that was. How can I say this politely without offending every American? Well, I'm just going to leave it alone because it's going to get me in trouble. But they just don't think of us as Ask somebody from Britain what they think about Americans. They'll try to be nice, but it's hard for them. They're just got just as big as ego as we do. I'll just tell you that right up front. Remember, they're our descendants, or we're their descendants. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're their descendants.
Yeah, we're their descendants. Technically, we broke away from them, and they really think we're still just a colony. By the way, Just so you know, they just think we're a colony that was allowed to go do whatever. I don't know, but they do. It's fun. I like the Brits. I think it's a good relationship that the United States and England has. So I wish y'all good luck over there, man. You should have a lot of fun.
I love London.
Now, I was thinking when you said twins, we know a set of twins that should maybe do some writing or something and do a twin project. I wonder who these two twins could be.
Maybe somebody named Brittany and Brianna?
Yes, I think so. I think they got the talent to do it. I've talked to both of them, and if they could either one sit still that long to do it, but
they write. They wrote a lot of books.
Yeah,
not as a joint together thing.
Oh yeah, they do.
Do they? I didn't know that. I guess I didn't ask talking because we talk politics a lot of times.
Yeah, their first published novel was co-authored.
Because I was talking politics with one of them, and she said, "Don't talk politics with my sister; she'll just irritate you." I was like, okay, and yeah, they're both really bright girls. I talked to both of them for quite some time.
Yeah,
they really are bright, and their dad's pretty bright himself. He's pretty sharp sometimes. I like to give him trouble, but the two ladies were talking about his dad. Their dad was just recently on the show. I think 2 weeks ago. No, a week ago actually. So y'all go listen for yourself. Yes, so y'all go check it out for yourself. And
one of them, Brittany, is partial blind and partial deaf. Both of them are going. Unfortunately.
Yes. Her and I had some seriously good political conversation. I told her, "She, I want to come talk politics. Just give me a call. So if you can't remember who I am, ask John." I said we had some really good conversations. She's both of them are really bright. I mean, I like them both, and like I said, they're really bright. I like to see duets like that, collaborations. Yeah. It's always a good thing.
So this is exciting. We're going to have that in volume 40, Rise to Feature. So that was pretty. Well,
that's good for the anniversary edition.
Yeah, for sure.
It's something unique. Yeah, that's it. It's to me, it's the anniversary edition from this point forward. So I want all the listeners just know I'm going to torture y'all with it. Because it is. What? No, you're asking the wrong person. So pop into the YouTube when we're on UFO Paranormal Radio. Pop in and ask John. I don't know who the artist is doing the cover this year. I don't know none of that. No, I get surprised just like everybody else does. And they're pretty secretive about some stuff too.
In a couple months, we'll do a cover reveal event.
See, I told y'all they were secretive.
Yeah. So you have to, how you find out all these details and find out everything before everybody else is go to writersofthefuture.com, sign up for the Rise of the Future newsletter, because all the news, everything goes there first. You want to get in with like private live Q&As with the judges, you got to be a part of the newsletter because that's where everything gets promoted.
Emily writes it and sends it out. It comes out in Johnny's name, but it's actually written by Emily, puts it together.
So sometimes I notice things like that.
People sign up for the newsletter, and that's how you can be the first to know, first kids on the block, or first kids in the country to know what's happening on this stuff. Here we announced the winners first there. We announced the all the events coming to where we're going to be. Well, we're going to have a newsletter coming out within the week announcing where we're going to be at DragonCon, where we're going to be at Salt Lake City FanX. We're going to have all types of good stuff. DragonCon.
You got to go sign up for the Writers of the Future newsletter. Just go to writersofthefuture.com.
Oh, yeah. And DragonCon, we're going to have how many winners there?
Oh, like at least half a dozen or more.
Yeah, because I know quite a few.
At the booth, Jody Lynn and I will be signing at our booth probably on Sunday. And Kevin J. Anderson will be signing at our booth probably Saturday afternoon. So if you want to get an autograph from Kevin J. Anderson, that's the only place you can get it.
Good. That's good autographs to be sneaking up and getting people. It's no, they've always got some good writers there and some good illustrators. I got to go see Sarah and got to try to beg her for a picture.
Yes.
Now that I'm poor again. I told her, Sarah, I said, I'm poor now, baby. You got to give me a picture. She's like, yeah, whatever. She don't love me no more, I swear.
Oh, she does.
She'll take the cash.
God knows she wants a damn cash. I got to watch her. She's evil. Anyway, no, I'm just teasing, guys. If y'all get to meet Sarah, Sarah is just the sweetest little thing you'll ever get to meet. Wait, I shouldn't even say it like that because that's condescending, but she's like the whirlwind on fire sweet, at the same time. No, she's really nice. But don't close your eyes for a second because you can buy a book, maybe 2, maybe 3. Just don't blink.
She smiles at you, and then you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, she's very nice. And then you walk out, you have a stack of books.
Yeah, she do too. She's good at what she does.
Oh, yeah.
Well, to answer the question that you just came with, Carl, she's good at reading people would be a better way of saying it. And I understood what you meant, but she's just good at reading people. She's good with what she's got to deal with all these people all the time, and not when they're at conferences, they're doing other stuff. They keep them pretty busy, and then she works at the again.
She heads up sales division, yes. So she knows how to sell.
Yeah, she's good at what she does. I'm gonna have to order a 15%. Get her to come start selling an advertisement for me. Say, look, I'll double what you make it, Sarah.
She's that good because she's yet to sell you that print.
Yes, because I'm tough though. It's different. And no, so you got y'all can't see it, can y'all? Hold on, Let me move it. See this print right here. They got some other ones that go with this print that I'm after. They got the lion one. I think that's what it was that I wanted. And there's another one besides that. But she's tough, guys. No, I said, come on, sir. She said, I'll give you 50%. I said, 50% is not free. It's like, I'm going to free your ass. She's really sweet. Another thing about her, don't stand still in front of her. She'll put you to work. Well, no, she did. The year before that, she put me to work. This year, Claude put me to work. So Claude and I were doing something. I forgot what we were doing. We were doing something.
I think weren't you setting up and helping run that?
Oh yeah, guys, these people are always great. There's a lot of fun and everything keeps going. And I don't mind helping out when I'm just standing around and they're busy. It's because sometimes I'm not doing anything. If I'm not doing interviews, I'm either taking pictures or just watching what they're doing, which is just as much fun, by the way. But still, it's no, they're busy. But the reveals are great. All the reveals are great. I loved when they revealed the artwork because that's just great because everybody's crying their asses off. And there's a lot of good stuff that goes on. Yes.
Yeah. One thing that's really cool about, which we've talked about before, but I'll just bring it up again. When L. Ron Hubbard created his contest in 1983, I don't think, because we recently spoke to a guy named Fred Harris who did the whole proposal to L. Ron Hubbard for the contest. And he was we told him where it's gotten to now. And he was just absolutely flabbergasted how much it's grown in the 40 years. We've got thousands. It started off maybe 600 entries that first year. Now we get thousands every quarter. Yeah. We've got the free online writing workshop, which Emily created, which has got over 7,000 people. We've got the podcast now, which gets over 2 million listeners every week on it. We've got the forum, which exists, and that's something that is free for anybody to enter, and it's a safe space for you to go if you're an aspiring writer or artist.
It's basically a writing group.
Mostly writers, but it's something there that you can go in and not get judged, not get somebody saying, bad things to you about your writing. It's just, if somebody does that, they get one warning, and if they do it again, they're out of there. They're banned from the forum. And then we've got the storied history of, we got the last 39 years of each of the books, and you see pictures of the winners. We've got a whole photo gallery of all the judges, of both writer judges and artist judges. When we go back to Frank, you're showing Frank Pizzetta there. He was one of the first judges. So we've just had amazing people as judges for this competition, and it just continues to grow. And what's amazing is that L. Ron Hubbard did have the foresight to say, okay, I'm going to keep on funding this contest. So he put it in his will. So each year, the contest maintains free because he said he's paying for it. So there's no entry fee. The winners are all flown out to Hollywood for a week-long workshop, which he pays for. The awards gala is paid for by him. The hotel is paid for by him. Their flights are paid for by him. All the award prizes, all that stuff is paid for by him, basically to provide for the future of science fiction and fantasy. And we've gotten now, after 4 decades, more and more reviews come in saying that, the future of science fiction and fantasy is in good hands because of writers of the future. And that's something that was created by L. Ron Hubbard, which is just amazing.
It actually is, and the way it's done with a lot of class, a lot of style. And I got to be honest, and John knows this because I gave John a hard. Poor Emily didn't have to put up with it, but John did, and I gave John a lot of trouble because you never know when you hear about these things. I didn't know if it was low rent, low classes. There's no way of knowing until you're out there and you're involved and you see what's going on. And it's different for me now because the first year they invited me out was their first year back from COVID, so there was double winners. There was 24 winners out there plus. How they did this was amazing because it was freaking insanity. And but everything got pulled off. Everything went the way it was supposed to. And then even with all of that, because I'm the newbie, guys, you got to remember, I'm the guy that was giving John Goodwin nothing but crap for a year. They were still nice to me. Mm-hmm. Plus, any question I asked, and that's still to today, any question I asked, they answer. It doesn't matter what it is. And I've asked some off-the-cuff questions to different people in the group, just random. I'll be sometimes just sitting there and just blurt out a question. And I've also asked the judges quite a few questions as well. No one's hesitated to answer me. Everybody's been completely honest with me as best I can tell, and I'm a pretty good judge of character. So I was impressed. I was like, okay, this looks pretty good. Let's see if this holds, or if they were just putting on a show for me, which I didn't think in the first place because there was just too much going on. But went the next year, and it was pretty much the same. Everybody was working. It was a little less craziness for everybody because there's only half as many winners there, but they did a fabulous job. Everybody did a really good job, and still I was asking questions. And this year I was still asking questions. Matter of fact, I sat down with 4 of the judges, and we were having drinks, and I asked quite a few impertinent questions, and they were all answered. I know. So I'm not used to that, by the way. Usually when I ask questions, especially off the cuff or impertinent questions, people tend to, and they have to 5 times before they can even get the answer out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Irritates me right off the bat. Plus, I've been to a couple of other writers contests besides this one. And there was always some kind of scam. Somewhere hidden inside everything that was going on, there was some kind of scam, like $500 entry fee, or if you won, you had to pay $500. Anyway, there was always some type of scam. The one in New York was the worst I've ever seen. I'm not going to give names out people because I don't want to get sued, but it's just. Oh, look, Steve just joined us. Hey, Steve, I'll bring you in a few minutes, and it's amazing. All I can tell y'all is win. Get out there and win. And if you don't win the first time, submit again. You don't win the second time, submit again. And always keep in mind, you can submit 4 times a year.
That's right.
So it's not one time.
Absolutely.
I'm not submitting because Emily will drive me. She will pick on me for months if I submit. Oh God, no! What are y'all crazy? You're nuts, people. It's no, but I am up to 20, 26, 27.5 now.
Good. Almost there.
Yes. Still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 days to put into it. This thing's gonna be like this if you put it into it. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to chop it up into pieces. Yeah. I'll get it, but you know what I'm doing? I'm gonna get it all written. I'm gonna drag it out there with me one year and say, "Look, all right, let's figure out how this thing's gonna work."
Absolutely.
So as you bring Steve in, I have to bail. I have to.
Yes. She's going.
Yeah, we're on the planning for Dragon Con. We got to make sure we got a nice place for you to come in.
No, don't let her lie. She's going to eat chocolate. I know what's going on. Oh, and a secret. This is a secret, guys. Shh, for whoever's listening tonight. You want to know what's going on right as a future? Send Emily chocolate, not just a chocolate. But I mean chocolate, people, like 8 or 9 pounds. Then you might get some inside information. I'm serious. That's what you got to do. Address it to Emily.
Especially if it's Canadian chocolate.
That's right. That's what I was going to get ready to say next. It's got to be Canadian chocolate. Send her about 8 pounds. Yes. Address it to Writers of the Future. Be sure, though, it says attention Emily, because you don't want the rest of them girls getting in that box because they will eat that chocolate too. I did notice that they all would sneak a little chocolate every once in a while.
Yeah.
You got to have that energy.
Chocolate, absolutely.
But, I'm always glad to see you, Emily, anytime.
Good
what do you mean? I would put her on a show, but she'd hurt somebody. She'd break somebody's heart or some shit. And then I'd have to be, you see what you did? No, they're not allowed to talk politics now. I don't talk politics with the good ones now. Just like I don't with the Roche and them. Some people are off limits for politics. You figure it out. I don't even need to tell you. Figure it out. It's just the way there's certain rules in
Right. The future is not political, and so we've got Rise of the Future. We don't get anything other than writing and art. We just keep it with that.
And to take it to the next level for y'all, if you pay attention, I do not usually talk politics with any host in the network unless they're political host. If they're not, we don't talk politics now. Yeah. It's not what the network. The network's not designed for that. It's not what it's set up for. And frankly, when you're doing any other type show, like they do Writers of the Future, so they're crossing many, many genres. A lot of our paranormal people are crossing many genres. So we want them to be able to go across the audience. Their politics shouldn't make a difference in their research or their writing or anything like that. Unless they're unless that's what it is. Yeah. So now y'all know that. So we're gonna where are we letting Emily go? Oh, to get chocolate. All right, Emily.
Yeah.
She gotta get ready for Dragon Con. Let's see. Hold on, we gotta let Steve in here.
Let Steve in, and then I'll be here for a bit. Then I have to go too because we're really in the middle of planning for.
Yes. Oh, look.
Hey, Steve.
Hey.
Hey, Steve. What's happening, Steve?
What's going on?
He said, "Who are these people in here with me?"
I know these people. They're good people.
He said, "Who is these people?" We had Steve on a couple months back with you. Steve is a great guest. He's a lot of fun. Steve, tell audience a little bit about yourself, man. Introduce yourself properly. Say, hi, I'm Steve, and how you're doing out there in the world.
Yeah, well, hello. Steve Pantazis here, author, science fiction and fantasy. And, I've been at this quite a while. And I know.
Where is it?
Good folks over there at Writers of the Future. And then Joe. We've known each other for 3 years.
Oh, yeah, and Steve. Actually, I am. I had your book you sent me. And I hate to think it, but I think my daughter snatched it.
Oh, you mean this book?
That one, yeah.
Yeah, that one right there. It's been sitting up here for months.
Well, here it is. Go?
That's volume 1 of 8, is it?
Yeah, volume 1 and 9. 9 books.
Yes.
Yeah, I just
got the hard copy, dude. That's what I'm trying to find.
3 in the mail today.
Yeah, we did a podcast on his first when he launched the first book. We did a podcast interview.
It's a good book. It's
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. So when my daughter brought me this one back, I think she took yours.
She took my book.
Yes, because it's been sitting up there for months. I don't know why it would be moved. I'll ask him to see it. Anyway, usually his book's right there. Y'all see it back up there again because it usually stays up there along with his bag and Gary's book and Lazarus' book and whoever else might be up there, right? Wolf's book. John's, well, Writers of the Future. I shouldn't call it John's book, but still. Close enough, man. Close enough. What you been up to? You been staying out of trouble?
Oh, a little bit. I've been busy working on editing because I have this 9-book series I'm trying to get done.
Oh, Lord.
So it's been taking up a lot of time.
I bet.
Yeah. So, I have 9 books in the series. So it's a young adult epic fantasy series called The Light of Darkness, and I got 2 books out right now plus the prequel, an ebook and hardcover and paperback, and then I'm waiting on my editor to get me back book 4 so I could publish book 3. So independently published.
What I really like about your series, I mean, I read the first book or 2.
The first book, The Dark That Binds.
Yeah, so it's I mean, you've got this whole world, and what's great is your story of how it started with a map that you made when you were way younger. You created this map, and off of that, it evolved this whole amazingly fantastical world that is across. I mean, for me, it was across. You got Arabian Nights type stuff, and then you've got, because of where it takes place and that type of magic that occurs there, and it's. You put a thing there where you got this guy who's a good guy, but then he's forced in this world with evil. I mean, his dad is like the big bad dude of all big bad dudes.
That's right. Yeah.
And he's got to maintain his own sense of propriety, which none of the big bad dudes have. They could give a flying what about anybody else, because for them, darkness is the way. And he doesn't have that so much in his blood to do the dark route. He wants the light route.
Yeah. And it's a tough situation. So we're talking about Petra, who's my main character, the person you saw on the book cover. And he's young. He's 15 when we start the series and 16 throughout the rest of the series. Yeah, and his dad is the god of darkness, which is not the kind of dad you want. And especially when you have a dark prophecy where the sun is going to be smack dab in the middle of it. So really, it's a story about destiny. It's like, do I have control over my fate, or does fate have control over me? So which is
what's really good too, because I'm definitely in the first camp. Feeling that even no matter what's up against you, you can still you can call your shots and make a positive impact. And it's great with him, but it was a really good, and you can get on Amazon, right?
Yes.
You can go to Amazon to get these books. They're really, I mean, it was really good. I'm in an unfortunate position where I read almost a book a week to keep up with all my podcasts. So I've got other books that you sent me, which I need to read, which I'll be able to swing back to. But I'm now reading 3 more books, getting ready for Dragon Con, you know, so I've got a few weeks for that to be ready for there. But
well, I had it scanned his into my computer and I was going to listen to it. But
you have the audiobook now too?
No. I scanned it. You can scan them in and have one of the readers online read to you.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Yeah, so you can actually scan it in. If you've got a scanner, you can scan it into your thing.
Yeah,
it's just aggravating me. I can't find this. It's irritating the hell out of me. It's
right.
It's a hardcover, by the way, people. I got the good one.
You got the good one.
I got the good one. I still stole his ass from when he's in LA this year.
Too.
No, he gets personally signed. And you know, I met Steve. Steve is an interesting character. He's a really nice guy to start off with. Plus, we made him come hang out with the crazy group the last night he was there. This is the year before last, people, not last year.
Right.
Yes, we put him up there with DeSantis and with Tom and with Echo. Echo's bad. She's bad influence. Echo's a sweetheart. And myself and a couple of the winners.
Your bad influence is you.
Oh, I'm sweet and innocent. Like, I mean, okay. What was it saying? I'm angelic like.
Angelic like.
Angelic like. Y'all figure out what that means. Let me know. Oh no, I mean,
was it you were 30, Steve?
31.
31. You're 31
this guy right here.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's already been almost 9 years.
I know.
My shit goes.
And I had the privilege of having the first story in the anthology Switch, which was pretty awesome. I couldn't believe that. It was actually right there at the front.
The rule of thumb, like the first story in a book is usually the one that you will lead with your strong suit there to hook people. So first and second story, and then because normally what somebody will do when they look through an anthology, they look at the first story, they'll check the second story, then they'll look at the last story, and those are the ones that they'll check to see, you know, what's the strength of the of this book. And you know, fortunately, we've gotten ourselves in a position now with Rise of the Future where the field is so amazingly intense, you know, with the quality of storytelling that we can guarantee all 12 stories will be amazing. But we still have that policy, like the first story is always the leading with the best story forward. So that's.
Well, you know what? I've read 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that one there. If you've read that one, Switch is the name of his story.
Switch.
Really good
volume.
Story. Yeah, yes. Switch. It's really good. It's a cop story.
Which one is that? 30?
31.
31, right there.
31.
Okay. Yes, I've read that one.
39. I love this cover. This is so beautiful cover right here.
Yes.
Yes, I've read 9, I think, or 10. 9 or 10. No, because I read one verse of 26, 27. It's not when they come in, because they're easy read, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, in the old days, I didn't mind reading stuff like this. As I got older, I really just wanted to read technical stuff and listen to stuff. But usually when I get hold to it, I'll read half of it one night, half of it the next night. They're not hard to read because I usually read them. I'll read them again on the flight into LA, which is about 3.5 hours. And so I'll read them and I can get it done. Of course, you know, if there's layover. If I know there's a layover, I'll save it for the layover. For me, when I read the first time, it's always a little bit slower. Then I read the second time, it'll always be a little bit faster. But now, one easy reads and they're good.
I was just curious because you did the workshop as well, and we talked about this on your podcast. But we have online on workshop, we have the various Hubbard essays. Do you remember which one you did, or which was your favorite one, and the impact it had for you as an author?
Well, the Manuscript Factory was the one I liked. That's the one because it's about, you know, it's about the business of writing. It's about being able to be productive. L. Ron Hubbard was talking about, you know, so much time in a day. What do you do with that time if you're a writer? How do you choose to be efficient and productive? Because he was, you know, making his money off these short stories that he was producing. And he had to figure out which genre, you know, worked best for him, and how do I capitalize on my time to produce effectively. So that essay really resonated with me because especially, here with 9 books, how do you manage an ecosystem like that? We're not talking short stories, we're talking novel length works. So, you have to really, put on your business hat, especially if you're an independent author like myself, your business hat, your creative hat, and figure out where do you put your time and how do you be effective. So a factory, is a whole production facility from start to finish for the ideas, the production, and then you go from there. So I think that anybody who's serious about writing wants to find that sweet spot of knowing, okay, I'm best writing in the morning, I'm best writing in the evening. I can be productive in this fashion, and then stick to a schedule and try to put out the content. The truth?
Yeah. The only time I can write, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. From midnight to about 3 a.m. is the best time for me to do it. I learned that when I was in LA, because I'd try to sit, even here, I'd try to sit and get in front of my computer in the daytime and try to sit or tape it and do it like that. But midnight hits and I'm in front of a computer, I guess my brain slips into mode at that point, or calms down enough that I can do it. But I can't. I've tried every other way. I've tried recording. I've tried doing it. It just doesn't work. But that's a good point, because that's the time. That's like the sweet spot for me. I'm like,
that's my sweet spot too.
I'm channeling. You know what? I told John this last time. Yeah, I'm a night owl myself. I'm channeling Elron at 2 in the morning, man. Speaking of it, on a segue, in the near future, John and I have a special coming up for y'all. So, since I look at the world differently than all the rest of the crazies out here, I had talked to John earlier this year. I wanted to do a segment on L. Ron himself. It has nothing to do with Scientology, for anybody asks. It has nothing to even do with Writers of the Future. This is entirely separate. This is about the man himself. I want y'all to see the him through my eyes and John's eyes. I don't want you to see it through the media's eyes, even though you can watch, or anybody else's, because I'm going. I'll start off. I'll show you. I got them on this floor. I've been going through. So we've got a couple of different ones we're going to go through. Now, y'all can't see because of the damn thing. Ooh, look at that good-looking man. Anyway, we've got a few of these that we're going to be going through. This one is, which one is this? This is Adventures. So it is, you can't see them because there's a stack on my floor right here. So we're going to do this. But I want to do this because, I had the same opinion as him as anybody else did without actually knowing who he is. So, if you listen to just the drive-by media, you're missing out, is all I can tell you. There's just way more here than what you know. So I've been going through them and looking, and the family's been going through them. Matter of fact, John sent me the art book, which I actually like. And so sometime I'm hoping maybe we can do the earliest one in November. They're going to be long. They're going to be at least a 3-hour show because there's a lot of material to cover. And we're either going to do 3 or 4 books per show. I'm going to go through them. John's already read them all. So, he don't have to. He's got to wait on me to catch up. And we've got to match our schedules because, but I really want y'all to see it through my eyes. And if you have something you don't like, I'm saying, or if you want to challenge something, feel free to call in. I mean, it's going to be an open show like it always is, but I've been reading about him now. I've met a lot of people, we're not going to get into what, and I've been reading a lot about him, and I'm thinking, what do you mean, John? Oh, no, I've read that too. You mean the bad stuff? No, I read all of that. Oh, no. I read all of that stuff. I listened to all them stupid shows on Netflix. So I've got that already. That's out of the way. All of that. I think there was like 26 people I could find that said something bad. I've already heard all that or read it. And now we're going to go through both sides and we're going to discuss it and see who's right and who's wrong. But I'm telling you now, from just these 2 I've read already, it's a whole different image and view than what you're getting anywhere else. So I'll go it, and y'all can challenge me, or you can ask John, and we'll go through it slowly. Might even have to schedule more than 3 shows or 4 shows. But how can I say this without pissing everybody off? It just needs a fair chance. Is the best way I can say this. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's just a fair chance, and if you still think whatever you think, that's your business. But I personally, since I've met all of these people, don't think that this particular gentleman is getting a fair chance. I don't care what he wrote. I know he wrote Dianetics. I know he wrote all of that. And I said, so I know all about all of this. So we need to know who this person is that you're talking about did this. Maybe if you understood who the gentleman is, you don't understand more about what he personally believed. So anyway, just a segue. We'll go back to what we were talking about Sexy Steve. And by the way, Clara, he is married. I met his wife. Very sweet lady. And I think she'd kick your ass, so you better watch it. So anyway, getting back to what we were talking about. So wait, 9 books you were saying? 9 altogether?
Nine books.
So wait, are they all written? Or are they all got to be
written.
approved? So they all got to be edited, or some of them got to be edited?
Yeah. So I have so 2 books are actually published, and then also a prequel. It's starts before the beginning of the series, and then I have so I have 2 published. Third is already edited and proofread, and then the 4th is over at my editor right now. But they're all written, and I wanted to do that because, you know, you've seen some authors of fame that they didn't finish their series. I wanted to promise my readers. I wanted to promise my readers, you know. You know, I'm a little guy. Promise to my readers that I would have this thing completed before I published a single word. So that's what I did. I wrote all 9 books, and it's taken me, you know,
that's
a
smart.
lot.
That's very, very smart.
Years. Yeah, and it's a risk too, because you it's all speculative. You know how these things work, but I believe in it, and this is something that was a passion project for me. So
I wrote
all 9 books.
You know, hopefully when we did the podcast, it helped on getting some sales for you, but. It's a good book, and on the show now with Joe, you're gonna get a lot more recognition.
Well, too. Pretty soon, it won't be this year, it'll be early next year. I'll be back. I'm going back on the tour. So I decided, there's a couple of people, and you're one of them, and a few others. While I'm on tour, I'm going to probably bring 1 or 2 books with me and say, hey, look, you should check these authors out. And they're prize-winning authors. Give them a check out, because it's usually when I'm on tour, I'm not selling anything. I'm just usually lecturing. And sometimes I'll set up a table, and sometimes I won't. But if I got enough stuff with me, they always offer me a table. So, they always want a table. And sometimes I'll bring, I ain't got none in here, but I'll bring one of the big banners and set it up when we're actually doing lecture. I'll be giving a lecture in Pensacola pretty soon, and I'll be giving another one in DC pretty soon. And I'm getting tired of it. Okay, I don't want to say this out loud. I'm kind of getting tired of being in DC. It's a messed up town, and I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about just the way you drive through the place. Oh my! You ever been to Georgetown? It's a messed up place. It's one of our directors lives in Georgetown. She's got a beautiful townhouse there. No, she owns a thing where they got the marquee and stuff. Oh yeah, it's great, because if you'll go by, you'll see United Public Radio on it. They made her take off the UFO Paranormal Radio. They didn't like it up there. It's one of the things. This is what I was talking to you about earlier, Janine. This one right here. So this one, we're going to put it like this so you can see it. And there you go. Let me get my fat finger. So check this one out. This is the second one I've ever read. Check this one out. You're going to find this one interesting. And when we get through the rest of them, when I get through reading through the rest of them, I'll let y'all know more about it. But you asked me where you should start. That's a good one to start at. John probably got a better recommendation where you might want to start. So all of these books you have to get from Author Services. Who you get these? Yeah.
You go to Galaxy Press. There's another good one called A Profile, which is a profile all the different, because there's 18 books that were written, that were created for this, all the different hats, or all the different lives he lived type thing. So you got the master mariner, and you've got the pilot, and you got the adventurer, you got the author, you got the poet, you got the photographer. So all these different things. Horticulture. There's a whole book on horticulture. He did all types of research in England, and tons of media he generated on his discoveries. And so all these different things that were done. One of the favorite books that when people here in Hollywood come, they love the camera, because there's a 4-page fold out of the camera room, which is just amazing. So anyway, so it's Profile gives an overview of all these different books into one.
Well, it's a good way to start. And Steve, when we're doing these shows, any of the authors, any of their friends or writers feature, are always welcome to stop by when we're doing this. It's like I said, it's going to be a pretty lengthy show. There's going to be a lot involved in it, and these shows will be probably a little bit more scripted than what we normally do, because it's just certain points I want to make sure we get across to people. And it's not necessarily, well, no, John, I'm not trying to transform you. I don't care who you like. It's just, when I read through things and I see what I consider injustices, I like to try to set stuff straight. And sometimes I get lucky and it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But in this case, like I said earlier, I've heard all the bad stuff, so why not learn the good stuff? It's a simple concept. You can't judge anybody or anything without knowing both sides. That's just life. I just told you the man was married. Damn. Steve, what are you like? Got some hormones going on tonight or something? Sure. Man, you might be putting it there like this, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, cover it up.
This is how can I say this politely? This is one of this particular audience, my messenger audience, seems to be they must be looking for other spouses. I was going to just say horny, but they're probably looking for other spouses. It's kind of funny. And they're lazy because they won't go to YouTube. It took me, I'm not kidding you. This original chat setup was on Yahoo Chat 25 years ago. We used to have support groups there. Eventually, Yahoo got out of control with bots and crazy people. So we moved to Fire Talk, which only lasted about 6 months. So we moved to Pal Talk, which we still have the Pal Talk accounts. But I haven't been using it. So the only way people can talk to me from Pal Talk, and I've got about 2,000 people on that list, is through my messenger. And because they don't want to go use YouTube. I have never, they wouldn't go to Pal Talk because it was blue. It took 5 years to get people to go over there because it was blue. I'll never understand people, I swear. But anyway, get back to what we were talking about. So you're going to put them all to press at one time, or you're going to put them all up for sales, what I should say, at one time, or you're going to let them go one by one, like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5?
Yeah, they go in order. So I have, I published the first one back in mid-April, the second one in July. So I was going to go to schedule working with my editor because, we're really looking for quality. And so he's my editor is really good and pushes me to sometimes flesh out a scene a little bit more or change some wording around a little bit. And I also have beta readers that have been helping me tremendously, giving good feedback. So I make some tweaks and adjustments. The other thing good too about having an entire series already written is that any changes that might affect something in a later book, I could always do a little bit earlier. So that gives me a lot of freedom in having the ability to be able to do that. So
great. Yeah, I need to
get out of here. Go on before the boss lady comes snatch you up.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Joe, for let me
no problem.
Talk at you. And if you are registered to vote for the podcast, remember we've got Rise of the Future, we got UFO Undercover, and we've got The Centralist, correct?
No, News on the Flip Side.
News on the Flip Side.
News on the Flip Side. So y'all be sure to go vote. Yes, go vote. And I will send everybody a free book that votes.
Okay, good. And
not that votes for us. Okay, let's get that shit straight before we get carried away here. But really, I'll give everybody a free book who votes. I'll get all kinds of free books.
Okay, good. And good seeing you again, Steve.
You too, John.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, take care.
Kim, no, we're not talking about that book. And no, we're not talking about Steve's book. But I'll give you a free book. I don't know what they're going to be. They're just going to be a free book. No, they're not going to be a stupid book. We get nothing but good books in the network.
Mm-hmm. Well, the ebook for mine is only like 99 cents on book one. So it's pretty, that's a pretty cheap, good deal. I mean, obviously the print books are more, but, ebook. Just wanted to give
people go back and forth on ebooks versus print books. It gets, because somebody asked me today, what would you rather read? I don't know if it's a good story. I'll read it on paper or on a pad, I don't really care. And I didn't realize that until recently, but I don't really care what it's on. As long as it's a good story, I'll read it on anything. And I'll read it on a damn phone if it's the text is big enough.
What I like about print, obviously, I grew up with print, and what I love is that, these maps. We talked about maps, right? Mm. So I decided that, I wanted to have a map of my world, but it's kind of hard sometimes. You get a little bit older, try to read these names and such. Yeah. So, I have some zoomed in, close-ups of different parts of this fantasy world. It's kind of like a Middle Earth. So
that's cool.
I have different views of maps.
See, I like that you included that, because a lot of people wouldn't even bother including that.
Yeah.
Or they'd have gave you some little tiny thing at the back of the book somewhere.
Yeah, and a little custom artwork and stuff. So it really, it's a whole different experience being able to hold a book in your hand, to feel it. It's a different experience. But obviously,
my wife would agree with you. She would agree with you 100%. She much prefers the tactile sensation of reading a book. And she's not the only one. I know a lot of people who would much prefer the tactile sensation, because 2-3 years ago, we had an opportunity to give away I think it was about 100 ebooks and 100 regular books. And of course, you got to pick when you won which one you wanted. The first 100 books were gone. We hadn't even given away one ebook. We'd already given away the first 100 books. And then, of course, we didn't have any left, so everybody took the ebook. But I was surprised. And so, what do you mean? Well, yeah, Gene, if you're a Z-Genner, you probably want to read off your damn phone. And let me tell you what, when you're my age, you'll be blind. Not blind. Sorry, I said blind, didn't I? No, really.
Well, I read off a Kindle Paperwhite at night.
But you can widen the text.
Zoom in. Yeah, you could. It makes it easy. You don't have to.
But see, on a wider screen, you can do it on these screens like these, widening out the text. What's the phone? There it is. Widen out the text. Really, you can only do, you limit how much you can read because it's, like 3 words or 4 words a line. Makes it a pain in the ass. Well, no, I'll read. I mean, like I just said, if I got my glasses on, I can read anything. It doesn't matter. If I don't, I just have to make the text bigger. I have a laptop I use in my bedroom sometimes. I'll read on it. Usually I don't like to read on it though. Usually if I have my laptop on, I'll put it on. There's a couple of programs I use that do voice for me so I can listen while I'm doing something else. I have ADD, people. What do you expect? I got to be doing 5 things at one time. And, well, that's like the other day when I had his book out, when it was where it was supposed to be up here. I had just taken it out the thing, I think. And, I had moved it over because his book was going up there, so I moved yours. His book was here, your book was there, and this book was laid on its side. And I was telling my daughter, because anytime we get a new book in, she's always interested. Mm-hmm. And she was reading. She had read through this, and she had read through this. And then she read through that, and she said, well, didn't you have another book up here? I said, yeah, it's up here. It's for a show cut. It's upcoming. And sure enough, I went to look for it. And it was gone, and she ain't in the house. I'm like, you're lucky he ain't in the house. It's and there ain't no telling. And I know because I was like, whatever. Well, it's good that they want to read. I want them all to read. I mean, I tell the grandkids and the great grandkids all the time, y'all want to read, just ask me and I'll send you something. And because I want them to read. The more they read, the better off they are. It was growing up for me. It was different. I went to private schools. I had to read all the classics. It was required to get through school. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, where we had to read all of them. Things like Old Yellow, Where the Red Fern Grows, stuff like that. I mean, most depressing books you've ever read in your freaking life. It's just, I mean, anyway, we were required, so it was different for me. So when I got older, I kind of lost the flavor for reading. I didn't mind if it was technical stuff. I would read it all day long, but I kind of lost the flavor for reading. I wanted to either hear it or watch it. And I was just from way too much reading because our teachers required us a report a week. So you had to read one classic every week and do a report on it. So I was kind of like, okay. That kind of burnt me out for a while. But I had to read. So it's not just that. We had to go to the ballet. We went to all the classic ballets. We went to classic operas. They even took us to rock concerts. Oh, hell yeah, they took us to rock concerts. They believed in giving you a well-rounded education so that you could function in the world, not just a piece of an education. Yes, I know.
Well, I still have a copy of the first book that I bought. I was in 2nd grade at a book fair at school, and I had I had some money, some allowance money with me, and I said, "Wow, this is all these different books over here." And so this book was on the table. Look at this one right here. Yeah. So I saw this book. I'm like, "Wow, this is a really interesting looking book," and this is a 1978 edition, I think. So back in 2nd grade, The Hobbit over here. This is what influenced me. This is what got me going on this kick about with writing and creating my own world. Yeah. And so when I created my map, here's a big old color version of the map of my world. You have the black and white one I showed you. I said, this is what I wanted to put my imagination in, because if you create a map, you then have, and this is a made up world, then you have to fill it with, the people and cultures and what happens and who likes whom and who's at war with whom, who's allied with whom, what's driving these people, where's the magic, what do they do, what's the conflict. So it really, it kind of moves the imagination. And so that's what that did for me. But, Tolkien had also had in his book, he had, his map over here, which world famous map over there. And so that inspired me to start creating my own. And I know that's a lot of fantasy authors out there also have maps of their world, because that's really what,
it's a fun thing to have. Yeah.
Yeah. And it keeps it straight. It's like, all right, we're going east. Where are we going again? So if you're having an adventure with your
Lonnie,
character.
it's not just for the nerds and the geeks, even though I'm one of the two or both, but it's not just for them. It's it's a nice thing to have. It's a nice addition. It kind of helps put your brain in the right direction when you're reading. Well, yeah, you want because you're using you're basically fantasizing about what he's writing, what's going on. You want to use your imagination, so the map just helps it. Gives you a kind of.
And with ebooks, it's kind of hard to see the map too. We're talking about ebooks. Like I'm reading now. Stormlight Archive, Brandon Sanderson's. I'm on a second book, and he has a map in the ebook, but it's not easy to zoom in and see what all's going on there. That's why with a print book you could actually see all those details. It's a lot easier.
What are you asking, Kirby? What do you mean dictates the size of a book? Are you talking about how many pages or the actual physical size of a book? I mean, yeah. So the actual physical size of a book, I don't know what dictates that. Do y'all choose that yourself? Or?
Yeah. So this was all strategic. This right here, this size. This is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Is one of the standard sizes that Amazon KDP, that's their printing or their the publishing arm, and then also Ingram Spark, which is a worldwide distributor. One standard format. So when I was thinking this through, I was thinking, okay, what size works? And the Rise of the Future volume, this is like 6x9. So it depends on your own personal preference. Me, I like this size.
I like the way that book feels in your hand.
Yeah. So when I commissioned my artist to do all these book covers, and also I had an artist commissioned to take my map that I showed you, the colored map, and then make it into this. You had to give that person dimensions. So, when you're thinking this through strategically, you got to think as an independent publisher from the beginning, what am I going to produce? So that's where the size came in. And I tried it out with a few books that I published, some short story collections and such, like these guys right here. I did that as a kind of test run. I said, wow, I really do like that size format. So that's what dictates, the size, and then and in terms of width of the book itself, that's dictated by, the spacing on the page between the paragraphs and lines, what font you're using, and then of course the word count. So something like this book right here, it's basically just under 400 pages, this first book from cover to cover. So
no, I think it's a great format, actually. Janine, that's what you have glasses for, baby. It's yes, that's what you have glasses for. Well, no, somewhere in my house I have it's called a reader. You can stick it underneath there, and it has a magnifying slot that goes across, and you just roll it down the page.
Seen those.
Yeah, they're cool. So they got the ones that are just ruler cons, but it's actually a piece of equipment. It's got a little light on it and everything. Yeah, if you like to read, it's a great thing to have. Well, like you said, you don't like reading ebooks or so. I have nothing against ebooks. I think ebook was a cool thing that allowed for people to get books who couldn't afford bigger books or more expensive books. Because even really expensive books, sometimes when they're ebook, they're a third of the price. Well, yeah, it's just a good thing. And if your thing's not that, like I said, go to Amazon, go to Barnes and Noble, order a book. Or catch them when they're out, because a lot of these guys are actually out doing book signings from time to time. So you catch them when they're doing a book signing. Yeah, go up. Steve will sign a book for you. Give him a hug. No, don't give him a hug. I was just teasing. Don't give him a hug, people.
That's my wife first.
Yes. Just don't. Because I know how some of y'all worry. Oh, Joe said, give me a hug. No. Let's not go there. Let's not cause trouble here. You're available on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So look,
you can
catch
find
them
me
on
Amazon. I also got my website over here. It's also on the screen there. StevePantazis.com. I have the 99-cent ebook link right on the front, and you can just see what the book is about. And I'm also enrolled in Kindle Select. So people who have Kindle Unlimited subscriptions. I don't know if any of your audience does, right? So you borrow books as many as you want, read as many as you want for like $10 a month or whatever it is. And so all of my books are enrolled in Kindle, the Kindle Unlimited program. So you have that.
Cool, I got the package. It gives me Prime, Kindle, and whatever their music thing is.
Amazon Music.
Yeah, Amazon Music. So it gives me all. The only thing I didn't like is the SOBs at Amazon decide. So I like to listen to Thunder Shower sometimes to go to sleep. So all of a sudden, if you wanted to extend it, they wanted you to pay for it. So I wrote them and said, wait a minute, I'm already paying for Amazon Music. What the hell's going on? Oh, this is a special thing. I said, I'm a special somebody's ass. I said, and I told them who I was. I said, on the radio, TV station, I'm telling you what, I will push this until it goes viral. She said, oh, don't worry about it. It's already on your account now, sir.
Oh, wow. I know what you're talking about because those thunderstorms are pretty good by Sleep Jar. Thunderstorms by Sleep Jar.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I put it on.
You have that too? I have thunderstorms. 80 cents a month, I think.
Yeah, it's not a lot. I mean, it just nerved me because I was already paying so much with them. So I was like,
and then my wife started getting like Windy Meadow. So we have that.
Yeah, there's all kinds. You got to watch
that. Sounds.
You got to watch. You got to make sure you say thunderstorms because one morning, it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, I started hearing these birds chirping. I said, what the fuck time is the birds? Because I live in kind of in rural area, so birds do chirp here. But I'm like, what? And I open my eyes, it's pitch black. I'm like, what the? And then I hear a little wind and birds. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It's just the window opening. I finally got my eyes open enough to realize it was Amazon. I said, Amazon, stop.
That's right. You had the wrong thunderstorm
going.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, I'm going
to. birds.
Well, now I got the Orbi Amazon because Amazon
the Echo device.
Yeah, I got the round one. Yeah, so there's 3 Echoes in my house. There's one is actually in here. Alexa, how many days of Christmas?
Christmas is in 138 days. On Monday, December
25th. There's one in my bedroom and there's one in the front living room.
I got one right here. I was worried that when you said
I know she might go off. So the other day I said something about Alexa and then I called for Siri and they started talking to each other. It was weird. And a couple of months ago, I didn't have one in here. I just had Siri in here with me, and Amazon was in another room. So I left. I come back. They're talking to each other. My wife is like, "What the hell's going on?" I said, "I don't know," but they were talking to each other. I don't know what they were talking. It was like jibber jabber, but they sure to have. Mm-hmm. So I said, "Okay, we're going to fix this problem." Because Siri is a you know what too. Oh, I always tell them stuff. Look, trust me, people. You don't never want to hear me talk to Siri or Amazon.
You mean to Siri?
Yes. Well, I tell her stuff like Siri. Oh wait, no, Amazon, Alexa. I love you.
Thanks for saying I love you.
You're over here singing. All right, Alexa, stop. Stop. That's enough.
Yeah,
it's damn things.
I know. It's good for reminders and stuff.
I'll cuss Siri. She'll say, I won't respond to that. I said, you better respond to it. You're going to get fricked out the window. People, I'm sorry. We live in an AI world. What can I tell you? It's not always a fun place to be. And I don't even use the other one. What, Microsoft Cortana, something Cortana? I forgot what it's called.
Well, now Microsoft has integrated, the ChatGPT into, because I think they own it, into their browser Bing. So you can have all kinds of conversations.
Oh, I tell you what, boy, so many people are mad that you can't copyright AI. They're flipping out over it. I heard one of the big companies the other day saying, well, if we make something with it, we can copyright it. And they went and seen a judge. Judge said, no, you can't. It belongs to the public. Can't copyright, sorry. And I don't know how they're going to change it. So I was listening to one of the Supreme Court judges talking about this the other day. And she was like, well, I don't know how exactly this is going to work. I guess a company will have to design and build its own AI. And then maybe that AI they can own. She said, but the problem is we're saying artificial intelligence, is it sentient? Because if it's sentient, you can't own it. Only it can own it. Huh. So I was like, oh, I mean, we're getting into questions we shouldn't even be talking about yet. And then is there going to be Asimov's law and all kind of stuff? I don't know.
Well, I don't think we're anywhere near that. This is generative AI. So it basically has like a gazillion variables in figuring out what the next word is going to be.
We got them flying jets now. They fly jets now. And they fly fighter jets, no less, too. Which surprised me. I didn't know that. I just found that out the other day. I'm like, wait, what? So I had known for about a year we had been using drones, letting the pilots, they interact with the like the F-35, and the pilot actually operates a drone on both sides. It's just like a jet shadow on the jet. And that way it can be pushed out in front to intercept a missile or destroy a missile or whatever. It's basically a sacrificial bet. But these new ones fly themselves alongside the jet, and it's making pilots really nervous. Like pilots are scared that maybe Russia or China could hack them, and I was like, well, I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? And I guess it's a new world, people. What can I tell you? It's
scary potential.
I'm just waiting for Arnold to step out of my house and go, I'm back.
That's right.
I said, hold on, Arnold. I got something for you, buddy. Hold on a minute. Just hold on 1 second, Mr. Arnold. I got something just for you.
Say, hey, Alexa, talk to Arnold.
What's that, Denise? Yeah, Denise wants to know. She said, didn't you say you had short stories? Are they available?
Yes. Yes, I do have short stories. I have them all in my on my website. If you go over to StevePantazis.com, and then there's a link over there for all my short stories, and I have a lot of them available. And they're also on Kindle Unlimited. So I did that strategically to have everything through Kindle Unlimited, because I know a lot of people just
because a lot of people
basically it's like having a free story, so they want to read that.
And if you know, if you're even if y'all don't have Kindle, people, if you're on Amazon Prime, they send you 2 free books a month, so you can choose. They used to send them to me, but now my system's different, so I get everything. But they used to send me 2 free books every month. You know, whatever your choice was, you could just get them and download them and read them. And it's every month. So, you know, if y'all are on that system, you should, read some books.
Yeah.
I'd rather y'all buy them.
Even if, somebody isn't, I do have, so the prequel. So this is featuring the bad guy from book 1. Look at this. This is the prequel called The Dark That Ignites. So this comes before the events of the first book in the series. So I have this as an ebook that's free. And then I have on my homepage, you sign up for my newsletter, which I basically say, hey, here's what I'm doing this month. Here's my next book that's coming out. You sign up on there, you get this ebook for free. I also did it as a print book, but the ebook's free. There
you go, guys. Get over there and sign up. Don't be messing around.
Yep.
Marsha, where are you from, Marsha? Oh, you're from New Orleans? You're from New Orleans? I like how you stretched it out. Yeah, how you stretched the lettering out. Yeah, I know New Orleans. So since you can't tell me, you're just going to make it read it. Yeah. So what's your question, Miss from New Orleans? New Orleans. What do you mean? Oh, I don't think he can. Well, he can't go back to the Writers of the Future, I don't think. And so she was just asking if you have plans of joining any other or getting into any other writing gigs, like Writers of the Future or something along those lines. Are there really that many of them left out there? Contest? I don't really remember. There used to be a bunch, but I don't think there is anymore.
I mean, there's contests where you get published in maybe some magazines and things like that through like Boston Magazine and things. But the Writers of the Future is the premier contest. That's the one that to me is like was the one that I really wanted. I know when you interviewed Wolf Moon, he said the same, because we both believe that it's the #1 contest for science fiction.
Well, I believe with you. I agree.
I mean, you were there. You see the pageantry. You see how the workshop week. You were there for the workshop week, which is
Well, I pick on John, but when we first started working with them, they didn't really get that many overseas people, and we've been with them 4 years, and their amount of overseas people entering has quadrupled. And it may have nothing. It may not have anything to do with us, but we have a much bigger overseas audience than we have a U.S. audience. So,
well, I had 2 people in my volume from Australia.
Yeah,
from the 31st volume. So they and a lot of the artists too. My artist for my story Switch in volume 31, he was from Poland, Daniel Tika, and he came overseas. They flew him over. They put him up at the Lowe's Hotel, like they put everybody else, and he got to do the illustrator track with Echo Chernik and all these other awesome illustrator judges, and then I got to do the writer track with awesome writing judges. So so we got you know, a lot of people from different parts of the world. But you know, most of the writers have been traditionally U.S. based in terms of winning. But I'm seeing, you know, I bet people like this last time from over in you know, coming from England. We've had people from, you know, African continent.
We had two Asian winners this year.
Right,
We
right.
had
So it's truly global. I mean,
it
that's
is.
what's
It's
so
really
awesome about
expanded,
this
and
contest.
it's nice to see it's expanded like this. And I know I had a gentleman last year I was talking about it, and he said, "Well, it should just only be for United States people." I'm like, "Why?" He said, because the United States write better fantasy and sci-fi. I said, well, maybe that's true. Maybe you're full of you know what. I said, but there's only one way to find out, isn't there? And a couple of, you know, I know quite a few of the illustrators came in from overseas. I mean, I met the little Spanish girl, but she was like 17, 16 or something. She was just like a pup. This girl, no, that wasn't a Spanish girl. That was the other girl. I think she was Aussie or something. The Spanish girl was older. Well, Jack, to be honest, and I talked with Steve about this a long time ago, but when I first met him, so when I first started doing interviews, I had noticed something about the writers particularly. The illustrators seem to be a little younger. The writers, really and truly, you might see one or two under the age of 35, but not many. Most of them will range anywhere from 35 to 65. I don't know why. We've even had them 70, but they just do. Maybe it takes more experience, more time to get a novel into your head or a book into your head and get it out there. Maybe it takes more time to develop the skills to write. I don't really know what it is, but I do know that the far majority, 80% or more of the people I interviewed were over the age of 34. So I don't know what to tell y'all. You know, the average submittance getting in was around 14 times. With the writers, with the illustrators, it was a little less. And I'm not even sure why there's a difference. And then there's some other differences, like the illustrator judges are a little more laid back than the writer judges are. But the writers themselves, the winners of the writers themselves, are actually more laid back than the illustrator contest winners. So it's a strange thing. I'm not exactly sure why, but it is something now after 4 seasons I can actually say for a fact. All the writers I dealt with were relaxed. Even though, you know, they were nervous, right? Because they won, they were still relaxed. They were, you know, having a good time and going through it. I really only heard 1 or 2 complaints, and I'm sure there might have been more. I wasn't privy to hear them, but everybody I met over there is really nice. They're really good people. They work really hard, and if you can win, I'd submit it. What do you mean, Carly? Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I've been, you know, so volume 31, we're up to volume 40 now. And so I've been coming back each year kind of as a way to pay it forward, because I live in San Diego. And so it's
you right
a couple
down the
hour
street.
drive over to Hollywood for me. So it's pretty convenient. And so I participate in the workshop week. I help, I go with some former winners. We do a panel. We talk to the new set of winners and saying, okay, well, what is life like after you win the contest? What can you expect? You know, how can you, you know, and they ask us questions like, you know, what did you do? Why did you decide to go this direction and all that? So we give them some honest feedback and experience from what we've done after winning the contest. So I love going back each year. That's why you see me there 3 times, because I get to participate that, and then I get to go to the awards gala and celebrate with all the winners and see him up on stage, which is fantastic.
So who was with y'all with you and Wolf this year? I didn't recognize him. I seen y'all with him twice. There was the 3 of y'all. Who the hell?
You talking about Martin Shoemaker?
Maybe that's who it was. He was. I know he's a previous winner, but I couldn't.
Martin Shoemaker was from my graduating class. He was in my volume, and Carrie English, who is the who's responsible for the stories that come in, giving them first read before they go to Jody Lynn and I. So Carrie English and I and Martin and I, we were in the same volume. So you probably saw Martin bebopping around. He's like this too. He always wants to pay it forward. And he was with me and Carrie on our panel with a few other former winners, talking to the new class of winning authors.
Well, it's a good thing. I mean, I like to see people paying forward. What do you mean, Jack? What's paying forward just means because it helped them out and moved them along. They're paying back to the new class coming up. That's paying forward. The old guard's paying forward to the new guard. What do you mean you don't understand? It's English. English. No, that's exactly what it means. It means that they're paying for it because, you know, people helped them along and the judges came along and helped them out. They're just paying forward to the next group. They're telling them how, you know, what to expect, you know, what you can get involved in. Yes, it's paying forward. Okay, I don't know why I don't understand that. You must be from some state I ain't never heard of, like Hawaii or something. It's, where are you from, really? You are not from Czechoslovakia. I don't even think Czechoslovakia exists anymore. I think it's a different country now. I don't know. I think you're BSing me, but we're just gonna leave it alone. Well, we only got a couple of minutes anyway, but I think you're BSing me. It's Denise, where you from? Oh, Duranda. I'm sorry. I just realized what you were typing up there. Atlanta, Georgia. My sister's in Atlanta, Georgia. I may be in Atlanta for DragonCon. I'll either be in Atlanta for DragonCon or in Arkansas for the float. I ain't sure which one yet. Well, I like hanging out with John and Emily, but I like hanging out with Tom too. I haven't made up my mind yet. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let y'all know when I decide. And I will be a couple places in the South speaking. Yeah, so y'all can catch me out. Just listen to the shows. I'll talk about when we're doing them. So, what was the question anyway? You went off on some rampage there, and or maybe I went off on the rampage. That makes no English. People are English. Are y'all buzzed when y'all are typing tonight? Because it sure looks like that to me. Because you're like for skipping words and shit. Just leaving stuff out. No, because I'm watching the text scroll by. It's retarded. I shouldn't have used that word. I'm sorry. What was it? All right. Now I didn't understand what it said at first. Now that I read 2 paragraphs worth of it, I understand. So Marcus he's writing in. He's in Seattle, Washington. He's asking, do you write stuff? He said jingles, but he said not necessarily a musical thing, just like commercials or stuff like that. Have you ever considered, you know, working for a company making commercials? Well, he's already rich. I don't know if he knows needs and needs kind of things.
Well, writing's my passion, and writing short stories, writing novels. That's really what, where my focus is. And yeah, I might have some poems within my writing, and that's about as far as I go in terms of any kind of or songs, or sometimes like Tolkien used to have the bar songs or whatever it was in the in his ballads and stuff like that. So I might have that in my writing, but no, nothing else on the side in terms of doing.
So why did you ask this question? Oh, it's what you do for a living. Well, wait. Now, so you write in Seattle and send it to New York, and New York either buys it or sends it back. So are you freelance or are you working for a company? Freelance means you're independent. Maybe I shouldn't have used that word. People, I'm not using that big a word tonight. What's going on around here? This is usually a really well-educated audience. So you're independent. Okay, I got you. Well, I was just wondering. I mean, do you make decent money? Do you mind me asking how much you make a year doing this? Six figures.
Talking about me? What?
No, he's telling me. I asked him how much money he's making a year writing. So he's writing basically. He's doing freelance commercials and sending them to these companies in New York, some publishing company in New York, and then they may use him for what. So like he'll do stuff like a commercial for like Snickers or a commercial. He's doing freelance, and then he sends them in and see if they'll buy them, and then they buy them. He says he makes about $170,000 a year doing this. He said, Joe, I've heard you say this word before, feast and famine. He said, it's the same for me. He said, some years I sell way more than other years. I'm a contractor. I understand that. Trust me. Feast and famine is part of my life.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah. So,
as Kevin J. Anderson said, when he was talking to us on the, about professionalism, he said that don't quit your day job if you, if you have a little bit of feast. Don't expect necessarily that the feast is going to continue. So, you want to, obviously, if this is your passion, that it comes in waves. It's impossible to predict sales with whether you're independent publisher, freelancer, whether even traditionally published, because the traditionally published people get royalty checks, and if the book isn't, if we're not driving sales, then that royalty check's going to be small. So you never know. It's not a fixed income. It's any, anywhere all over the map. So
Rachel is writing in from Oklahoma. Oklahoma City. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, okay. I just, yeah. Well, it's the way you wrote it. What about it? Oh, okay. I didn't know. It was kind of weird conversation. Okay. She's just wanting to know what your favorite genre to write in is. Do you have a particular thing that you prefer to write in? Oh, damn it, this thing tonight. Sorry.
Well, right now I'm on a track with epic fantasy. And I love epic fantasy because that was my first love when I read The Hobbit. That's epic fantasy, Lord of the Rings, that kind of subgenre of fantasy, because fantasy could be urban fantasy and it could be epic fantasy and so on. So my main gig is epic fantasy, but with short fiction and stuff, I do techno thrillers, I do space opera. I'm all over different types of science fiction with short stories, because I just love to pick a subject, go run with the story, and then see what I come up with. But with the novels have been fantasy, so that's where my headspace is at. That's why I'm reading Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, because I want to have my head in the game when I'm writing.
Yeah.
I want to, I'm reading this, it's inspiring me, and then I'm writing in the same genre as I'm reading.
Do you know that The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, all four books, I should say, is what got me through technical school in the Navy. Anytime I get burnt out on, because in the Navy you have to ace every test you take. You can't, if you miss one, you pretty much flunk the course. So I catch myself burning out. So on the weekends, I just grab one of them. And one of my actual bunk mates turned me on to them. I didn't even know they existed, and I was in the Navy, I think in '79. And 79, 80, 81. And he hands me this book. He said, read it. And so I read them backwards. I should have read The Hobbit first. I read the 3 Lord of the Rings book and then The Hobbit. People, for personal advice, I would tell you read The Hobbit first and then read the other 3 books. It just works out better. Trust me on this. And you need to have a good imagination if you're going to read it. Now it's different now. You got all these movies out there you can go watch. But I would still suggest you read the book. It's a little different. It's not. Well, trust me, as movies go, it was closer to the book than most movies, but it still had some places it wasn't quite the same. So, but I would recommend go read them. And while you're there, pick up a couple of Steve's books, read them on the weekends, chill out. I know all y'all are, everybody's either working or being lazy. So especially if you're being lazy, pick up a book, read a book. You don't have to go out and snort the cocaine, read a book. So it's just teasing, please watch. I only said that because of that stupid White House thing. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Well, you see, nobody in the White House picks up a book. See, if they would be out of trouble. What is that? What do you mean overseas? Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Let me answer, John. So, space opera. Let me see what I would consider Babylon 5. That would be a good space opera for y'all to look at. It's not the only one by any means, but it's pretty well written. It's decent acting. Sci-fi, the special effects still hold up pretty good. It was made in the 90s. That's definitely considered a space opera. Give it a check out. One of them asked me what kind of things they wanted to know what a space opera was, so I just gave them something to go look at.
Well, Steve Wars,
Star Wars,
opera, basically.
Yes. No, it don't have to have singing to be a space opera.
No. Yeah, I know the opera's misnomer. No, definitely not.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I couldn't help not laugh about that. Again, I don't like to laugh at other people. I apologize for that, but no, it doesn't have to have music. It's because it's like a soap opera. Your soap opera, so it's a space opera. It's just kind of. There's several. Most of you have already probably seen
space.
Yeah,
with battles. Usually.
Most of y'all have already seen Star Wars. That's a good one.
Or Star Trek.
Star Trek's another good one.
Right there.
And if that's not enough for you, Babylon 5's out there. It's a good one. Babylon 5, the reason I like Babylon 5 is it's probably the closest sci-fi series to how humans will be in space. One, we're not going to be brilliant right off the bat. We're still going to be pretty ignorant. We're going to be learning our way, fumbling through space. We're going to probably find a technology that helps us more than likely instead of inventing one. but it's more about the interaction with the other races, the political intrigue. It's just the way it is on this planet now. And it's the same way we'll be in 500 years if we were in space. That's why I like it. It just shows humans for what humans are, instead of trying to make like Star Trek this super wonderful human race. Because John Luke, I love you, but it's going to take more than 300 years for us to be this super wonderful loving race. I'm just saying, man. Don't hate on me. I'm just a messenger.
Hey. And you don't want to watch boring stuff anyway that everybody's just getting along. You want conflict.
That's right. Blow some shit up, man. We're Americans. Yes. Blow some stuff up. It's well, what was that? What was it? It was one of the rush hours when the taxi cab driver in France was driving him around. It was, are y'all going to blow some stuff up? Americans do like to blow stuff up. I can't help it. No, what do you mean for real life? Well, we do in real life too. I'm sorry. That's who we are. We yippee-yi-yay cowboys. Two more questions, and then we got to get out of here. Well, there's a show. Oh, by the way, if y'all want to catch the Out Around with Michelle DeRoche, she just came on about 3 minutes ago, so be sure to go catch her out. No, we're getting ready to wrap up, but I'm going to give y'all two more questions because we held Steve in the green room for a few minutes while John and Emily were here. Yes, yeah, John, the guy just left. Yeah. Put your thing up with your website on it again. Somebody just asked me about it. I'll get it up. It probably won't get up to this weekend.
It's also underneath my name too.
Yes, there you go
on the screen. Right there, StevePantazis.com.
Yeah, you can. Y'all know y'all can make the screens watching as full screen. And if you're on Roku, you can even zoom in on it. So, yes. What? No. What do you mean? No, he's a nice guy. I met him in person a couple of times. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Why you want to know? So you want to know what kind of personality he has because you want to know what kind of writing. That doesn't work that way. So to help y'all with this, I've met a lot of really nice writers that don't write so much really nice stuff. And what I'm saying by that is it can be not that it's bad. It could just be, like
so to be young adults. So this is young adults epic fantasy, right? And so is Name of the Wind by Pat Rothfuss. It had the characters, 15 or 16, right? And then no, extreme violence, and then no curse words, no, sex, really. So that prevents it from being, more of the adult thing.
Yeah.
Well,
guys,
that's what I'm writing there. It's clean.
I've said this 100 times, and I grew up in a different generation than a lot of y'all did. When I watched TV, there was no sex, there was no violence, there was no cursing, and it was still funny and entertaining. I don't know what to tell you. And it's not just that. I've watched whole series, like what I just said, Babylon 5. And in Babylon, there's a little violence and sex, but still, it's basically written for, I would say, PG-13 or PG-17. So you don't, and it's enjoyable. And I've watched a lot of stuff over the years that you don't have to have sex and violence and drugs in it to have a good read or a good entertainment. No, it's just Hollywood just went that way. Now, for an epic movie today, it involves killing a bunch of people, blowing a bunch of stuff up, even crossing dimensions and stuff. We've gotten to a point where they've kind of pigeonholed themselves into this, and everyone is too scared to write some. So look at Avatar, the original Avatar or the new Avatar. These could have been really good movies without the violence in them. They could have still been good movies. They could have been exploration movies, but that's not what we wanted. We wanted to kill some stuff. So that made it, supposedly made it better, but not necessarily. And I mean, it was an epic movie to start off with. They could have took a different course and probably even made it even a bigger movie, but that's not what they want. They think for America today, unless it's a love story, and even a love story a lot of times is going to have a little violence in it, that a movie has to have sex and violence in it and cursing. First off, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like to hear cursing. I try not to even curse when I'm on the radio. It's not against the rules on this network, but it's frowned upon because I've always had a thing about if you can't get your point across without cursing, maybe you should just go home. I can win an argument with anybody and never use a curse word even one time. I can even have an argument that makes somebody feel like they're this big and still never use a curse word one time. Because you don't need them. You don't need that. And it's not that I'm anti-sex, because I'm not. It's just sometimes it gets a little much in a series. I mean, that's the Altered Carbon. I don't know how many of y'all have seen Altered Carbon. Altered Carbon is a really good series. But there's more TNA in this than a porn movie. I am not kidding y'all. I mean, it's as far as sci-fi goes, it's a well-written, well-put-together sci-fi, but just unfortunately, there's just everywhere you look.
There's a lot. You see this on Netflix and
and that's actually a Netflix series, or
right?
was a Netflix
So
series.
You're seeing a lot of that gratuitous violence. Now there is going to be conflict when you're reading a book like Lord of the Rings, right? People are going to die and such like that, but that's part of the conflict. It's not gratuitous violence that's done, extreme. So even if you're reading like Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive, and he's the #1 fantasy author in the world right now, he doesn't have any curses or cursing in there, any sex or extreme violence, but it's a really good read, and he has a rabid fan base, and people love that. So he's accomplishing, like what I'm trying to accomplish too, with the fantasy of not going in that direction, but still entertaining and engrossing the reader in the story.
Well,
so I think it could be done. It's a little harder with movies.
They do it the other way because it's just faster. They can be sloppier with what they're writing. They can just have some stuff where they blow some shit up, which is meaningless in the movie. A lot of times they just, are they walking down the street and they blow up a whole refinery or something for no real reason. It's just, no, Gene, I'm not against sex in a movie. It's not what I want to watch the whole entire movie. Okay. If I wanted to do that, I'd go watch porn. Let's just be honest about it. So I want something that challenges my brain and makes me think. That's what I want. I don't care if they're talking like preschoolers or if they're talking like adults, as long as it's selling what they're doing in a coherent fashion that's understandable and enjoyable. I don't need sex and violence to blow stuff up. I was raised in a different generation. And what was rough on me is I was kind of raised out of time, because I wasn't quite the generation of Leave It to Beaver and Joan and all of them, but my mom was. And that shit was constantly on our televisions. So you just, after a while, that's what just sinks, like, what's the Martian guy, the Uncle Martian or whatever he was, my favorite one. I mean, just stupid stuff. But none of it was violent or sex. None of it. It was just, and a lot of it was hilariously funny. Some of it was stupid, I'm not going to lie. But a lot of it was funny. And then they've got all those sci-fis like Danger, Will Robinson, and the whole bunch that he did, which none of them were great, but they were kind of funny. I guess it's all in your taste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and reading is a different experience than watching the movies. Movies it is blowing up. You're not gonna take like a Fast and Furious movie and put it in a book.
I'd like to see that one. That would be funny. No, that would be a funny read.
This blew up and that blew up and this flipped over. Yeah, I mean, you could probably, but
Kirby, The Expanse was good, but I don't know if it was a book. I don't remember. I think The Expanse was developed by a company as a TV series. I don't think it was. I don't know. Don't hold me to this. I really don't know if it was a book. I just don't remember hearing it. It was a good series. Was it 6 seasons? It was a good series. I mean, they did a good job on it. It was some boring stuff in there, but there was in the beginning of the series, there was a decent amount of nakedness, and but they did use a lot of science and a lot of strings, and they did kill stuff, but they did it in a different fashion that whatever the alien was flowed through that way. Or like when the what was he, the guy, I forgot what they call him now, but he was from one of the outer colonies, and he was trying to break a speed record and decided to go through the ring, and he just splattered his ass. I didn't expect to see that. They did a good job with the special effects too, but it was part of the thing, and it wasn't in a way, it wasn't violent in a way like somebody killed him or chopped him. He just tried to run through here, and that's what happened. So it was different, but to each his own. I like sci-fi. I like some fantasy. I like a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I even like boring stuff like the news sometimes. Well, okay, people. When I say news, I have very strict on what I consider news, and so in case y'all didn't know this, in almost every TV network now, when I mean like I'm talking about like Roku or a lot of the big ones, or Vizzo or Apple or any of them, when you notice it doesn't say news anymore, it says opinion news or news and opinion. It's not news anymore because cable news is not considered real news anymore. Nah, most Americans look at cable news like entertainment. Yes, they do. And some of it may be really real, but they still look at it as entertainment.
A lot of it I just call the bad news. You just don't call it news anymore, because it's not going to attract it's not going to keep your attention if everything's happy and going on. You have to have worldwide pandemic stuff to keep the reader, the viewer engaged, and then some kind of calamity or
and some kind of disaster.
It's not news; it's bad news.
Yeah. So if you want real news or close to real news, you can watch the evening news, and because see, ABC, NBC, CBS evening news is bound by journalism rules. So they can't just go say around saying a bunch of bullshit. They have to adhere to journalism rules. And so does your local media. But cable is different. Cable does not have to adhere to any bullshit. Cable can say whatever the hell they want anytime they want. Yes. No, cable you can even get nudity on cable. Cable is just a different world. And it's not where I would go to find my news. What do you mean, Yahoo? You can look online. Look, this is what I do. I actually use several different sources for news. And when I want to fact check American news, I use European news or Chinese news sometimes, or Russian news sometimes. Well, because you have to fact check American news sometimes. Let me rephrase that. Worldwide news in general, whatever country you live in, it's always good to fact check your news against another country's news, because that'll give you a better eye. Because the Brits are going to talk about us the way they see it, not the way we want them to. And we're going to talk about the Brits the way we want to, and not the way they see it. So they get a different aspect of the news. Yes, there you go. You're getting it. Steve, any parting words before we get out of here? Anything you want to tell these crazy people we've been chatting with tonight?
Well, I appreciate everybody hanging out with us and getting to listen to the story. I really appreciate you having me on the program.
I always love you. You can always come on.
Talk about my books. Talk about my series. I'm excited, Joe. Next time I see you, you're going to have to sign another copy for you.
Yes, and
I have more books for you when we get together in person.
So if you're coming out to LA this year, right?
That's right. So so by then I'll have probably like 4 or 5 books.
So what we'll do is bring them with you, and we'll do a we'll set them up somewhere, and we'll do like a little round kind of deal, like a little round table thing, and we'll put them in there, and then we'll sucker in some of our friends over there that because I know some have already read them, and we'll sucker them in, and we'll have like a little round table discussion about you.
Sounds good.
No, Steve is great. I had several pleasant conversations with Steve on the record and off the record. I mean, some of these people get really nervous. Steve is real comfortable with us, and I can be a real pain in the ass when I want to, and I can talk really fast when I want to. And so sometimes you got to slow me down just to know what the hell I'm saying. But Steve was a lot of fun to talk to, and we want him to do well. And most of the people we meet there, we want to do well. All right, all the people we meet there. Okay, I have some favorites. All right, sorry. It's like having favorite children. I have a favorite child. I only have one, so still. I have 4 stepchildren, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we might try, if I can squeeze in the time, John and I might be doing a segment of this Elron thing there. Kirby, I know you asked me that 25 times. And I can't get into a detail because it's too late in the show. And this is not what this is about. But I'm going to do this, not so much because I'm a fan either way, as I just want to correct some of the press. So real quickly, I went through these. But what I did was I went back as far as I think in 1930 and started looking at press reels of this guy and seeing what was going on. And I found something real interesting. He was like love, 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 even through World War II, love, 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 love. And then he decided he bucked up against the center about this thing they wanted to build in Alaska. And after that, it was just downhill for him with the government. Yeah. But we'll talk about all of that. Y'all will find out about all of that. I didn't know. I didn't know any of this. I had no idea that he commanded 2 different ships. I didn't know any of this stuff. So it's good to know about the people you're going to criticize or praise or in between. And I'll be somewhere in the middle. Y'all already know that. But Kirby, one last question. What is it? Oh, okay. We've asked this, but we're going to ask him again. Kirby, real quick, wanted to know what. Yeah, you are retired, right?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
So he ain't retired. So y'all were
not
wrong.
Retired. Not retired.
Now, Kirby wanted to know what got you into writing, though. What made you start writing?
Well, that book that the Hobbit. This is what got me into writing.
Yes, I thought that's what he said earlier. About I was going to let you tell you again.
I mean, I was in 2nd grade, and then I started writing. I saw Star Wars and the movies at the same time right around then, 1977. So then I did a mashup of the Hobbit with Star Wars, and I did like a science fantasy. It was like the first writing I ever did, and I just got into it from then. I just loved writing and making up characters and making up worlds. So
that should be good for me, but I just can't do it. That kind of stuff I love. I can fantasize all that in my head, but I cannot get it on paper. I don't know why. And no, J.K. Rowling did not write The Hobbit. She wrote Harry Potter. Sorry. Oh, you don't have to believe me. Just go look it up for yourself. Y'all are just argumentative tonight. That's what this is. It's all this hot weather everywhere that, Yeah, so y'all should know I'm cranky. It was 101 today where I was working. Feels like temperature was 119. Yes, and the humidity out here was almost 90% today. It was like working in a steam. It's like you're almost like walking through water. It's whatever. I can't say what it is, but we're gonna go because Steve's been a great guest, and we gotta let the girls get going because they're gonna get on my ass because we're using up their time, even though they went live on the network without us. The network automatically picks up and carries the station on the other station. Yeah. But we're going to go. We're going to have Steve back in a couple of weeks. We're really just going through. Carmen and I have been cycling through different people and different judges, and we're just trying to get all of the people we want to talk to out by December, because we won't be doing any more Writers of the Futures interview. After that, the next 5 months will be whatever I happen to be doing, which will probably be some politics and some alien stuff. And then we'll be getting ready for our visit in April to Writers of the Future. I want to go to Dragon Con, but I really want to go to the floats. I don't know which one it's going to be yet. I don't. I like going to Dragon Con. I have a lot of fun. John gets me a pass, so I can do whatever the hell I want. Oh, no, it's not cheap. It's $140 a head, I think. And you better be ready to exercise your ass. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. They always say, it's 5 hotels in the right question. That's true. But Atlanta has hills. And not just little hills. They have hills. So you're going to be...
You're going to get your steps. You're going to get your exercise and your steps.
You're going to get your exercise. Oh, yeah, you can cross the bridges, but somewhere you got to go up and down a hill. You just might as well get ready for it. No, I didn't. I cheated. I talked to a guy who owned a parking place. And I said, well, look, I want to leave my Toyota Jeep here all weekend. If you don't mind, and I'll use an Uber back and forth from the hotel. But I wanted my car there. Because the hotel wanted $80 a day, by the way. So I parked it there. I gave him $100 for the week. He was happy as could be. And my car was in. I had a ticket if I wanted to leave or go somewhere with it. But most of the time, I just Ubered over there. I was only a mile. I was staying at the Hilton. I was only a mile away. So, yeah, I didn't want to be in the hubbub. I'm sorry, guys. I like it, and I like it when I'm there. But when I want to rest, I want to just chill. And I didn't want to be close enough that people could find me when they knew I was there. Because I made a mistake with some of these conferences. I forget sometimes that I have been on television and radio. And every now and then people recognize me. I went to go do the cosplay girls and guys. And some people were bugging me. I said, all right, I'll go interview them real quick. So I walk over there. I'm talking to them. And I look behind me. There's like 14 people behind me. I'm like, what the? So I'm thinking they're in line trying to get to these cosplay people, right? They could not possibly be interested in me. That's what they were after. So I turned around. I took all these pictures and did these audios. I get ready to leave. And they're like, can we talk to you? I'm like, why? Well, we've seen you in Ancient Aliens. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, yeah, you can talk, because I'm not going to say no. I said, well, let's go take a walk and get away and let the press get to these people so they can talk to them, because I didn't want to be. And then two of the cosplay girls come up. I recognize you from Ancient Aliens. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not part of this. I'm here as press. I need to get a bigger press badge. You
need to come out to San Diego Comic-Con. I did a signing there.
We talked about that. Yeah, John and I talked about that, about getting me out there. So we might come out and see it.
Come visit you. It's like my neighborhood.
Yeah, it's man. Well, I went to boot camp in San Diego.
Oh, there we go.
That's where I did my Navy boot camp, was in San Diego, and I spent a good time in San Diego, some time in Anaheim, a few other places. I don't know my way around that well, but all right, LA people, close your ears for a minute. I like San Diego better. I did.
I think LA people would agree.
First off, the climate felt a little different there. I don't know what it was, but it felt a little different. And the people were definitely different. They were definitely
more
nicer.
Relaxing.
It is. It's more relaxing. It is. Well, people, I don't hate my LA friends, because I got a lot of friends in LA, but guys, San Diego is just nicer. Plus, the town don't smell like marijuana. People, Los Angeles is not Los Angeles, but Hollywood is ridiculous. So we left the hotel. We were staying at the Lowe's this year. So we left the Lowe's and we walked down a side street and then down Hollywood Boulevard to Author Services to take some pictures. Do you know by the time I got there, I was high as a kite. Oh, no, I'm not even kidding. And what I felt bad about is these other poor bastards that's never smoked weed before. They were really high as a kite. You know, Larry Elmore was like, I was laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. It was me. It was Larry. It was Echo. It was Tom. I can't remember. There was 6 of us, and then April and Sarah and a couple other people with us, and some of the other winners. And it's just ridiculous. Every like 5 feet, somebody smoking a blunt. I mean, come on. I was like, people. And then what bothered me was doing a day to do it, and then his kids walking around. I'm like, look, okay, that's enough of that. True. And when we stayed at the Roosevelt, they used to come sit out in the front. I guess there were some people that worked on that side thing. They used to come out in the front and just smoke them up. And I was standing out there with 2 of the winners. I felt sorry for them. They were so high. I said, y'all need to go inside and get something to eat.
Well, it's night and day between the inside and outside of the Roosevelt Hotel. Inside
it is
all posh and beautiful. It's like a sanctuary. And then you go outside and then you have the streets and
you got
quite a different environment.
You got. But somebody asked me this year which one I like better. I hate to say I like the Roosevelt better than the Lowe's, but both are nice hotels. I'm not hating. We stopped at the Roosevelt, the bunch of us that when we were walking that night to get a drink, and we were down in the downstairs room, the one that had the hidden room, and they had a burlesque show going on. So we stopped in, had a couple of drinks. So I got a whiskey sour. The girl said $50. I said, for what? And I don't even want to tell you what I had on my mind when she said this, okay, because it would not be polite. I said, $50 for this? Because it had one of them giant ice cubes in it. I said, like, they ain't even got no liquor hardly in this thing. So I drank it. But anyway, I put my card up there and I drank it. And I walked around, did some stuff. I came back, got my card, put it in my pocket, walked up. She never charged me for it. Didn't even. And didn't even take the tip that I left for it. She just left. And I was like, okay, well, works for me. I'm not going to complain. But it is a nice hotel. And I like they did the salsa
pool area.
Yeah,
the pool area is really relaxing.
It is. It's very nice. That's a good place to sit and chat. I like the lobby. I found the lobby easier for me to communicate with the different winners because there was lots of places for them to spread out and sit.
I think you were doing your interviews there, weren't you?
I did some of them. But I also like my room was better. It was much better set up for interviews than the one at the Lowe's was. It was just a better setup because you remember how we had the couch in front of the bed and stuff, and there was lots of room. The Lowe's hotel's not quite like that, so. But I'll go anywhere they want to go. That's what I'm there for, to work press. And I did mostly verbal interviews this year. Well, I shouldn't even say it that way. I did most of the interviews I did were just sitting and talking with people. I didn't get much on tape or video because the schedule was so tight this year. It ended at 6:30. It started at 6:30, so there was no real time to grab people in between. So I got a lot of interviews, and I got a lot of it written down. I just got to sort through it. It'll probably be next year if I get it all done. But
and you're interviewing the judges too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm interviewing the judges.
Yeah.
Well, like with it was Kevin J. Anderson and Wesley Dean Smith. We were sitting there, and he was talking about the lead singer from Rush, and he got in some pretty in-depth stuff. He knows the guy really, really well. Kevin does. He knows him really well, and he was talking about him having stage cancer and all. And I was like. And you could tell a lot of his conversation I got to hear because I was there, but some of his conversation was definitely private, and which I was happy that I got to listen to it. It was just part of the conversation, and they talked for quite some time, about 2.5 hours. Had a couple of drinks and talked, and it was interesting just to sit and listen. And so I got to do those, and there's a couple others I sat around and talked to, and then I got I caught up with a couple people at BarCon and chatted them up to see how they were doing, and caught a couple people upstairs. Because they had that big area at the Lowe's that went to the shopping mall. So I caught a couple of people up there and stuff like that. What is that, Carissa? Well, no, I'm just talking about the different hotels we've stayed at up there. So far, I've got to stay at the Roosevelt and the Lowe's. I know every time they say Lowe's, I think at Lowe's because I shop so much at Lowe's. Right. No, it's just a thing. So wait, what do you mean? Oh, what do you want to? So I don't know what hotel they do it. They never tell me. And I don't even know if they make it public until the thing. So you can't book in advance. So I see what you're saying. You want to book you want to go ahead and book now to be able to stay there while this is going on. I understand that, but I honestly don't know what hotel we're at. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't find out either until like, right
Yes.
before the event.
Yeah, you're not. I'll know. You know how I'll know when we stay, when I get my travel itinerary. Yes, that's when I'll know where we're staying, and that's usually a day or two before the flight. Sorry, guys. Now, when you try to bribe me, it's not going to help you. I don't know, and Joni's not going to tell me early, so.
Hotels are so close,
they
so
are
near each other. You just walk from one to the other.
Yeah, they're like 2 blocks or something. Yeah,
it's 5 minutes the most. Yeah,
yeah, it's an easy walk. And there's lots of entertainment to see along the way. Well, all right. Before I go, I will tell you this: I did stop and try one of them. This was the year before last. One of them vendors sausage hot doggy thing. It was actually pretty good. I was pretty loaded, but it's still pretty good. me and Chris and one of the other guys. I was with one Australian and 3 guys from the UK. We didn't pay for any drinks all night. Yeah, once we went to the first bar, and I went to go get a round of drinks, and I told the bartender where everybody was from, and he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "This round's on me." So I went over there. So he starts telling people that I'm from New Orleans and he's from Australia and he's from the UK. So we had a crowd, just a big ass crowd came up around. And people started buying drinks, and then we went somewhere else, and then we went to some club where you had to all be dressed in black. Fortunately, 3 of the 4 of us were dressed in black. I don't know why. Yeah, we went there for a little while, and then Chris and I went and checked out LA at that late night after 2 a.m. to see what was going on in the town. It's pretty boring after 2 a.m. Yeah. Yes, I can't go to sleep. So yes, it is. Yeah, he was too, and he was trying to get me to come to Hawaii with him. I said, "Man, I got a wife at home. She'll kick my ass. I go to Hawaii without her." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You trying to get me divorced?" I think he's in Poland right now. Yes, he's over there writing. He's got some job over there, Janine. Yeah, he's right to me. Yeah, he's good. That's why I called him Mr. Blue Eyes. He's more hyper than I am, guys. Yeah, he really is. He is. But we got to go. Y'all keep running us over. I want to thank everyone for tuning into United Public Radio and what show? The Joe Montaldo Show, because we don't do UFO Undercover when we're doing another kind of guest. That's right. I see y'all smart tonight. Yes. Anyway, guys, I appreciate it. Y'all coming and hanging out with us. Remember, we got a lot of different things going on our network, so be sure to check on what's going on. We have a new website. Be sure to check it out. We have shows coming in from all different directions. This Friday night is going to be mostly news. Yes. Well, it's news with opinions is what I should say. So there'll be some news. Sometimes there's news and satire and opinion. Sometimes it's just news. And then sometimes we're doing other stuff, but it's mostly news this week. Yes, got to catch up. Every now and then we got to catch up on what's going on in the world. And besides, every now and then I have the need to bitch. Oh, no. You heard John earlier. This show we're talking about is news on the flip side, but I host one called The Centralist because I am a centralist. I'm not a Republican, and I'm not too. I was born a Democrat, changed over to a Republican, and decided that, no, y'all are all effed in the head, and became a centrist, or a centralist. Yes, and because I'm in the middle. Most of the stuff y'all talk about, I'm in the middle. Sometimes I think y'all go overboard on both sides. But anyway, we'll talk about that on Friday night. Be sure to stop by and bitch at Jay or Emily or John or Chris or anybody who happens to be with us that night. You don't want to gripe at me because I'm mean, but be sure to stop by and check out the show. We have a lot of fun, and we talk about a lot of different things. And we have some really good guests come on from time to time. Danon, that's WT Frickett. That's Emily Min's house show. Yeah, go check it out. She just had on somebody McCullen. So be sure to check it out. I got to go. Good night. Go check out Michelle. Please jump over and see Michelle before she hurts me. Good night, everybody. Lord have mercy.
You are listening to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, coming to you live on 105.3 right up to 107.7 FM.